Sactown Sports Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlade with your Sactown Sports Headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possessions, and then it went from bad to worse when backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. The Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight, and they will look to bounce back from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to the rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-off scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. It's 11 o'clock, and that means it's time for the Deuce and Mo Show.
Live from Sacramento.
It's Deuce and Mo
On Sactown Sports.
We are live! Oh, it's a happy Monday, I guess. It's happy because we are here 11 to 2 p.m. on Sactown Sports. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. How you doing, Mo?
Hi, I'm still great. I'm still good. Great,
Well,
whatever.
We have a lot to go over today because it was a championship Sunday that led to heartbreak in Northern California. The 49ers, Morgan, they're going to Philly. It was supposed to be the matchup between two Titans in the NFC, and then Purdy goes down. Josh Johnson comes in. He's out. We got a guy with one arm who can't throw the rock back into the game, and the Niners absolutely get destroyed. You have Mahomes hopping around on one leg. Can he even run? No, he can't run, but he gets the biggest run of the game on a 3rd and 4. You had the Royal Rumble. You got to give Gunther some love, no?
Go, Gunther!
Okay. And the Kings had a really tough one in Minnesota, plus the Lakers they aren't happy with the officials. Yeah, Lakers it's just not fair what's happening to the Lakers.
Is that your Pat Beverly?
That's my Pat babe.
Wow.
I've got the camera. You want to look at this? Get out of here, Pat.
Get out of here, huh?
So, yeah, we have a jam-packed show today. Coming up at noon, we've got Herm Edwards, former NFL head coach, ESPN analyst, is going to join us to look back at what happened to the Niners against the Eagles and also the AFC Championship game. And our 49ers insider from Sactown Sports, Amil Fragoso, joins us in studio at 1 p.m. Appreciate everyone joining us live. You can listen in so many ways. If you're driving around your car, that is awesome. We love you. We also would love for you to check out the YouTube page, youtube.com/Sactown Sports at 1140, where you can hit the thumbs up button and chat with all the animals, the deuce bags and morons in the YouTube feed. Morgan.
Yeah, what?
We were so looking forward to this game. There was so much we're talking about a chance to go to the Super Bowl on the line, and it felt like the game was over really early. It was one of the most bizarre, deflating, devastating, disappointing championship games I think we've ever seen. It's not every championship game where you get your 4th string quarterback in the game. Can you sum up in one word, your feelings about the Niners' loss in the NFC Championship game?
One word is really hard. How about crud?
They're going to go crushed.
Just crud.
It was crud.
You know, and this is what, crushed at, sure, you could put that for a Niners fan, but crud for a football fan, right? Because you dedicate and commit so much time to football, especially when it's the postseason. You're watching more teams than just your team, right? As a football fan. And you come into this Sunday, you're like, all right, an NFC Championship game, 2 really good teams, all around good teams, defensively, offensively. This should be a really fun game. Right from the start, everyone's football dreams come to an end with the way that Brock Purdy gets hurt on the first drive, too.
The first drive of the game, he goes down, gets absolutely crushed. I know there's a lot of talk about that, Morgan, because you're blocking one of the premier defensive guys in the NFL this season, Hassan Reddick, with a backup tight end.
God.
A little one-on-one. He just absolutely boat raced him. Crushed Brock Purdy.
Crushed.
Fumbles the ball, and is there something more going on? We get to the break. We're going, wait, he's hurt? This is not good. You got to go with Josh Johnson, who played for the Sacramento Mountain Lions back in the day, who's bounced around on, I think, all NFL teams pretty much in his career.
Don't be crushing him.
I'm not crushing him at all because he's just bounced around. It's not an ideal situation when you have to put him in the NFC Championship game. And to rewind, before that, you're going, okay, where are they going to go if Josh Johnson goes down and then he goes down? You're looking around going, Christian McCaffrey's working on a headset for his helmet. You got Juszczyk looking at the playbook. Like, all right, what do we got to do? And then they have to go back to Brock Purdy. It was insane. It was crushing. And it was just disappointing because you don't get a lot of opportunities to play in championship games. And I know the Niners fans have been spoiled with some championship game appearances, but it's hard to get there. It's hard to get back. It's hard to win as it is. And then this is how the season ends. Crushing.
Yeah. Crud, crush, whatever you want to go with, right? And it just like, it stinks when you look at this game and it happened so quick. It couldn't happen even after the first half. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just wanted to feel hope. As a Niners fan, I just felt awful, right? Just awful. After that play happened and you have your fourth string quarterback coming in, Josh Johnson, who, by the way, on Twitter, for some reason, I kept wanting to call Jack Johnson. I wanted to call him Josh Jackson, like all these different names. And I just feel bad for so many football fans, but I also feel bad for him today because you're supposed to come in and be ready. It doesn't matter if you're the 10th string quarterback. If that is your position and that's what you get paid for, that is what you're supposed to be ready to do. And I will never be put in this situation. So for me to speak on, hey, you got to be ready when you're called up for an NFC Championship game and you have the loudest fans in the NFL just screaming at you, you got to be ready. My point to that, though, is be fundamentally ready. I think there was times when it wasn't even nerves getting to him. It was just, for example, when he fumbled the football off his hands, he's already looking away before just focusing on catching the ball on the snap, right? And just being there, being focused on those small things really mattered. I just really wanted him to be a game manager in there, but instead they had to throw in the guy that lost an arm in the first drive of the game, Brock Purdy, just to be out there so they would try and not get as many turnovers.
Well, you mentioned the fumble, huge. They also had 3 delay of game penalties with him. Like he at one point, he's looking over at Shanahan, like, I can't hear you. And so their communication was completely off.
Yeah.
The end of the second quarter, the game was over. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. You're feeling good when McCaffrey scores that touchdown, breaking tackles left and right. Like, okay, the defense is playing well enough right now that they could maybe you could steal something. You were talking yourself into, all right, Josh Johnson doesn't make some mistakes, maybe gets Kittle, maybe you force a turnover that leads to a touchdown, get some good field position. You felt like they could keep you in the game. Once that game was tied, and then that next Eagles series where it was so many penalties, you had 3 penalties, and some of them were questionable for sure.
Thank you.
But it was just backbreaking because then they score. Then the next play, the next play is the fumble, and then another touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 21-7.
Yeah, and that happened within a blink of an eye, right? And that was very frustrating to see on so many different levels. And I think when we were talking about it with Jason Ross right before we came on to our show, it was, I had tweeted out game, period, like at the half or maybe even a little earlier, like it's over. Throwing in the white flag. I'm done. I'm good. It's over. And some Eagles fan was like, it's not over. There's an entire second half of football left. Football is so different from so many other sports when you're putting in your next set of guys, especially when it comes to a quarterback at that level. Brock Purdy, I know, a rookie quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, but he at least had those 8 games under his belt to start building his momentum and what he needed to do with this team, that chemistry. When you're just putting in someone else in there who just hasn't really been playing football on this level in so long. I mean, he had 9 NFL starts in how long of his career. It's just going to be a huge drop off at that position. And that's why we also do put so much pressure on quarterbacks when we talk about they won the game or they lost the game.
I think the other thing that has to be mentioned, I know so many people are like clowning Josh Johnson, like, oh, look how many teams he's played on. Oh, well, if he's played on so many teams for this long, there's a reason why teams go to him as like a potential option, because
his uncle is Roger Goodell.
His uncle is Roger Goodell, as Chris says. That's why.
Yes,
so
Chris.
that's why it's nepotism at its finest. No, but in all seriousness, he's a smart player, and look, he was put in a really tough spot yesterday, and I think you're not getting thrown in a week 7 game at home when you got the lead.
Right.
You are playing in the NFC Championship game with this Eagles defensive front that was nasty. And we can't lose sight of that, because I think so much is about Purdy not being in there. The Eagles front dominated the Niners offensive line, absolutely crushed them. And Purdy was going to have to be dealing with that heat all day long. He got crushed on that play, and that ended up being really the 49ers season right there. And it's so disappointing that it came to that, but that's what happened. And now you hope Purdy's okay, because then you have question marks. All right, what does that mean for his elbow? Is he going to need surgery? How long is he going to be out for? What are they going to do at quarterback? Is it going back to Trey Lance and Brock Purdy? It seems like they just have the worst luck out of any team that's been contending for the last few years at the quarterback spot, which, by the way, the most important position for any team. If you don't have a quarterback, what do you have?
Yeah.
It's crazy that with how talented this team was this year, probably their best team, at least that's what Shanahan felt like.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how the season ends.
Yeah. It's crushing. And I think when I was watching the game yesterday too, just taking down some notes, and I was looking at things like, oh man, well, we could talk about when, for example, one of the first turnovers, the Eagles, or after Brock Purdy was out in one of the first turnovers, it's like, well, at least the Eagles didn't score. And then you had that momentum going, like we were saying, with the Christian McCaffrey touchdown. And, you felt these moments that it could be real, things could keep going. And then once halftime hit, it was like, oh, the story of this game is truly the future at the quarterback position for the San Francisco 49ers. And you look at everything that's going on with Trey Lance getting hurt, his ankle injury in week 2. Where is he going to stand in this position? Brock Purdy, what's wrong with his elbow? I mean, how many of us, okay, can we just be honest?
Yeah.
Secret time. When he wasn't coming back in, I was just like, something better be really wrong with his elbow. And I love
that we act like that. There's so many times
horrible.
like, dude, player safety, the NFL needs to take better care of it. Then your team's faced with this, you're going, this guy better be really hurt.
I'm like,
this guy better not be able to throw the ball, because if he doesn't, he is soft. He isn't tough. And it's like, no, the guy was really hurt. He's telling Shanahan, I can't throw. If you want me in here, I can't throw deep.
I promise you, my mind shifted right away. But it was the first thought, which is awful. And none of you should have thought that either, but we probably all did together.
We got to give some love to people watching us live on YouTube. Scotty says, I'm surprised they didn't just cancel the game. Actually, that would have been great. Hey, Purdy's we're in a spot where we're trying to find a guy in the crowd to play quarterback. We'll go ahead, postpone this for a week. You guys don't need to care about the Pro Bowl next week. Let's play this game.
That would have been a great, something great that could have happened, just for ratings and more money for the NFL as well. And just putting the Niners in a better position to try and get a win against the Eagles. But
we got a lot to go over today. We're going to continue to talk about Championship Sunday, plus the Kings was a really disappointing loss in Minnesota. They play them again tonight. Again, talk about adjustments, all that. Also, we want to hear from you, not only in the YouTube chat where you got to hit the thumbs up so we can get to over 200 thumbs up, but also hit us up on the phones, 1-800-920-1140. If you want to chat with us, let's talk. Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Oh, man.
I know.
Oh, man.
I know.
Let's see. Shout out to everyone watching us live. What's up, Drew Mac? We got Big Blue in the house. Double A. What's up, Paul?
What's up, party people?
Paul says that game was such a frustrating game for the Niners. The Eagles were totally unimpressive to me. I don't know. That Eagles defensive front was getting after it. But yeah.
That's why, like, I think it is interesting when people do talk about, like, well, it's the Niners didn't have this, and this, but Eagles still had to win the game. They still had to capitalize on all those mistakes, and they did a good job. But if they play like that in the Super Bowl, they're not going to win.
What's up, West Sac Kings fans? Tyler says, can we talk Kings now? Still an open wound. No, we'll definitely talk some Kings today for sure. We're going to bounce around. We got Championship Sunday stuff. We're going to have fun today. We're going to hang out, have a good time. Let's see. What's up, Cole? Philly hurt Purdy, but 49ers couldn't get to Hurts. That's the difference in the game. Philly's offensive line was way better than the Niners. Yeah, the Eagles' offensive line is good. I also thought they did a good job containing Jalen Hurts. They didn't really allow him to exploit with the run, which was, obviously something that the Niners defense had struggled with. The penalties crushed him more than anything. I mean, you're giving up penalties on third down, and those are crushers. It's momentum sucking. It just, yeah.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
The give is a fake, and the pass goes up, and it is intercepted, I believe. They faked it, and it goes, now they're going to say incomplete.
Oh, that was a weird call. But the reality is it was a game-altering play with Purdy fumbling and then getting hurt. Niners lose in the NFC Championship game. I did have a poll question that somehow disappeared on the YouTube chat.
No.
But it was about this 49ers season. Do you still consider it a successful season? It ends in heartbreak. You make it to the NFC Championship game. To me, it's like a no doubt about it. Successful season. You had to go to your third string quarterback who might be the quarterback of the future for you now. And you got to the NFC Championship. What's the poll update, Morgan?
So was the 49ers season a success? Yes, duh is one choice.
Yeah.
No, another bad finish was the other choice. 65% of the voters say yes, duh.
Okay. 65 is too low for me.
Oh.
It should be higher than that. I don't know how you don't look at this year as a successful season. You cannot tell me that any other team in the NFL would be able to get to a championship game, one win away from getting to the Super Bowl with their third string guy.
Because it's Super Bowl or bust, Deuce, which is, come on now. There's so many things to grow on top of with everything that went down. You look at that Niners defense there, especially in that second quarter when all those penalties were being called. I think that first one was on Ward with the pass interference. And it was just like watching them battle it out and still, after being deflated, knowing that their quarterback is gone, they're going to be the ones that have to get them back into this game. There was some really good defensive drives by the Niners, but at the same time, it was just like, it wasn't going to be enough.
If I would have told you that Jalen Hurts would throw for 121 yards and rush for 39 yards, I think you would have felt really great about the 49ers' chances in this game. And that's what's deflating. You're right. The penalties just absolutely destroyed this team at the end of the second quarter. And then you get to the point where, you go with Josh Johnson and Sue crushes him. A nasty hit. Looked like he might have hurt his shoulder and hit his head on the turf. He's out of the game.
Yeah.
Then they got to go back to Purdy. And I've never seen a game in NFL history where it was like, hey, this guy can't throw. And I can't imagine the mentality of a player, whether you're on offense or defense, just on that team, when you're like, we're down big right now. It's 21-7, turning to 28-7. We can't throw the ball. And if you can't throw the ball, you can't win the game. And so you're just sitting there for pretty much an entire half going, all right, twiddling your thumbs, just sitting there knowing you have zero shot. That's deflating.
Which I don't know. At some point, aren't you like, hey, shouldn't we just try anything to win? Why not try Christian McCaffrey at quarterback?
But again, this is what we're talking about here. Is like Christian McCaffrey with a sore calf that's playing through it. Let's go with him.
I'm just having the conversation. I'm not acting like Shanahan should be fired after not trying everything he could have in that NFC Championship game. I'm just someone that was viewing the game going like, I'm down for anything.
I was down to get Brian Greasy, one of their coaches, into the game because he had NFL experience. I'm like, can he play? Is he active? Can we get him in there? Because at least he can run the offense. Maybe he could throw it a little bit. I think he could still sling it at his age. Ian in the chat says Shanahan completely blew it by not challenging that catch. It was all downhill from there. Yeah, I mean, the officiating too. We talked about some of the defensive penalties in that late second quarter that were costly on that Eagles touchdown drive. But then you go earlier. It's 4th and 3. They get it to Devontae. It shouldn't have been a catch. And everyone's blaming Shanahan, but the Eagles went fast. They moved fast and said, we got to snap this.
Well, and the broadcast was talking about how there's obviously when a team recognizes like, yeah, that wasn't a complete – I did not catch that ball. Let's snap the ball. Let's go. They said that they have certain code words. So whatever code word was screamed out for them to get on the line and snap the ball quick. So then the Niners couldn't review that, couldn't challenge it. It was just well done by the Eagles.
What would your code word be if you were in that situation?
No, every code word I keep thinking of, mistake, blew it. I blew it. Like those are.
I feel like I would know the code word, and then the time would come like, let's just hurry up and stop it. Hurry up and stop it. We gotta go. You know, I didn't catch it. Everyone's like, yeah, what? Everyone on Shanahan for that, but I thought the NFL would replay assist now. You're telling me the guys in New York can't look at it and go, hey, just so you know, not a catch. It's on Shanahan to get the right replay. The TV crew on Fox screwed up the replays. They didn't have the replay until after the break.
Dude, they screwed up the replays. Yeah, they weren't even talking about it on the broadcast. There was a lot of weird things. By the way, talking about that, there were so many weird things happening in that first quarter with obviously the catch that wasn't a catch. And then you had
the punt hit the camera, the wire of the sky cam. And by the way, you want to know why conspiracy theorists feel like so empowered today?
Why?
With the officials?
Why?
Because for some reason, there's the NFL broadcast has 8,000 cameras. There's not one random camera, a couple of random cameras that show that ball hit the wire on the punt.
There was one.
That's insane to me.
But the point that the official made was that there is no like obvious conclusion that the ball hit the wire, even though the ball, every single player is pointing up going, it hit the wire, hit the wire, and then it goes way out of bounds. It's like
some of the Niners players are thinking, actually, I do think it hit the wire. Do you see how it moves? Yeah.
It hit the wire.
Let's check in with Jim. What's up, Jim?
Hey, how you guys doing this morning?
Oh, you're so good. What's up, man?
So talking to a friend this morning, and, towards the end of the season, if you have a great chance of making the playoffs, I think the NFL teams are going to look at this game and go, hey, maybe we should have brought in a free agent quarterback. And with today's concussion protocols, make sure you have 3 quarterbacks on the roster going into the playoffs.
Well, you can't have the third quarterback active, right? So back in the day, you could, and I think that's something that they should be able to do, especially in today's game. It just sucked that we're in a championship game going, all right, the Niners have to go back to the guy who shouldn't be playing right now. He is hurt. His arm is in so much pain. He has no feeling. There's a nerve thing going on. The guy can't throw the ball.
Yeah.
It's just bad for the product. Oh, there he is. He's out. He's out.
Bye, Jim.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. And I think we have 2 things that we can do here, guys. We can make sure that every single quarterback can throw with both arms. So that's one. Your quarterback has to be able to throw with both arms. That has to be
Patrick Mahomes so far.
Correct. Yeah. So just Patrick Mahomes, or every single player on the team has to be able to play multiple positions, meaning every single player needs to know how to play quarterback.
Yeah.
That's where the NFL is headed.
You know what I think they should have done? They should have just switched defenses and offenses.
Oh.
So the Niners defense had to play offense.
Good.
Eagles offense had to play defense.
You got to get creative for sure. On the YouTube feed, appreciate everyone being there. Make sure if you're in the YouTube chat, just hit the thumbs up button. All it does is help our channel grow and get to the next level so more eyeballs see it, so they know that we're doing live content from 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Wheezy says, you got to call a timeout there to look at that catch, especially when the receiver says, hurry up. Worst case, you lose a first half timeout. So you're right. Like Shanahan, if there was just knowing that they were trying to rush that, even to allow your defense to be in a better position, just use one of those timeouts.
Yeah.
You get 3 timeouts, and you don't use any of them?
Yeah, I don't. You guys, I'm totally with you. I'm totally with everyone on this. But the angle, again, that we only had at first was like, that was.
No, but the point is, it's clear that the Eagles are trying to hurry up here, so there's no time to review it. If that's the case, just call a timeout and just like, you know what, they are rushing.
Weren't they in the red zone by that point though?
Yeah.
So what if, but like even with that mentality, what if it was just like, oh yeah, they're trying to rush, they're trying to just get a quick snap, get someone, they're in the red zone, they're, and yes, the mentality, sure, like no matter what, make that call. I completely understand, but at the same time, I don't know. I'm just like, when I saw that happen, I was just, weren't we all at first in awe? What an incredible catch. I don't think anybody right away was like, that's not a catch.
Yeah, because Fox had one replay.
Correct.
I don't know why. And then they waited till after it was.
Conspiracy.
And then the NFL's putting out the picture. What a catch of a light zone. I was like, actually, it wasn't a catch.
Yeah.
Like, of all the plays that you call no catches, that was clearly not a catch after the replay, and someone in New York should have noticed it.
Well, here's my question too. Why don't you delete that tweet after you do something like that?
No, why? It was ruled a catch. It was a catch. It was so beautiful. You see how he did that?
Oh.
All right, we got to talk more about this game coming up. Also, the Kings with a really, really tough loss against Minnesota the other night. The two teams play again tonight. We got so much to get to. Plus, Herm Edwards joining the show at noon. That's all straight ahead on Sactown Sports.
Tell you the truth,
What?
talking about the game makes me more annoyed.
Why?
I don't know. And just like, I felt fine yesterday. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm not annoyed. I'm going to be fine talking about this game. It's really annoying. All these mistakes being made, everything that went down. It's just like, what a waste of my life yesterday. There we go. That's my
What a
transparent
waste.
feelings right now.
Another thing I need from the YouTube chat today, besides hitting the thumbs up and getting us over 100, do you guys have a dog of the weekend? Who's your dog? Who is a guy that just brought it over the weekend? That's what I want.
I got a bad dog today, Christopher Laud. I got a bad dog.
Ooh.
That's interesting. I got a good dog.
Oh my God, we're
I
trading.
have
script.
a couple of good dogs.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Oh.
Okay.
That sounds like more like a sneeze, huh?
Yeah, it's just like not great.
Mike wants to know, do either of you have a favorite that you're picking and or rooting for in the Super Bowl?
No.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Although you just hope both guys are healthy for that game.
Yeah.
I don't know how Mahomes did it. I still don't. The guy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Robinson says Deuce is my dog of the weekend. I'll take it.
Why? Tell us why.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us why on the chat.
Megadeth. Gotta be that guy. If neither Brock or Lance are ready health-wise in August, is Brady coming to the play?
Something we discussed.
Mark says his dog of the weekend, his wife. She had to deal with me after that Niners loss.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good job. Way to give her credit.
Yeah.
I hope no one did the stupid like punch your TV thing because you're so frustrated. Because you are the only loser in that situation.
Let me put this in Discord.
Daniel would like us to know that he said last week, and he's saying it again,
Ooh.
Kings gotta watch out for the Clippers.
No, what do you mean watch out for the Clippers? I got to watch out for all these teams in the West. What do you mean? Brooke wants to know which Kelsey brother you got in the Super Bowl. Man, Travis cut an awesome promo yesterday.
And he's the better looking one.
Oh, my God.
What?
No.
And I don't even think he's hot like everyone else does. I'm just saying he's the better looking
Jason's
out
just
of
got a
the
little
two.
more girth, man. He's got a little more girth. That's it.
Again, just saying. I'm not even attracted to the guy.
Patrick says, folks are sneaking up on us in the standings. Yeah. You just got to win a game, man. You're good. It's not going to be easy in the West. We can get to 100 thumbs up before noon? Because we got to get that pace so we can get to 200.
And so we can get our drop from Chris.
Yeah. What up, Sean? How you doing, man?
What's up, Brooke? I was listening to their podcast earlier. It's hilarious.
Scotty, I hope Davion starts tonight. Stop it.
Oh my God.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles against the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possession, and then it went from bad to worse. The backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. They'll look to rebound from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to the rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-off scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. And now back to the Deuce and Mo Show.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
We are live on a Monday, talking about what went down in Championship Sunday. A devastating loss for the 49ers, but the Chiefs, what a game. What a game. We'll talk so much more about what went down on Sunday with Herm Edwards at noon. Kings road trip continues. They stayed put in Minnesota to take on the T-Wolves for a second consecutive game. That tip-off is tonight at 5 p.m. Morgan, that game on Saturday night was so frustrating. The Kings lose 117-110. Got started with Russell going off in the first quarter. Then Ant-Man took over in that second half. Just a really disappointing loss. And I felt like so many people were talking about the offense after the game.
Yeah.
To me, I was more disappointing with how they approach things defensively. Too many communication breakdowns. And I think if anything I was critical of offensively, they weren't physical enough. Like, go at Gobert, get into his chest.
Yeah. And
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy.
Yeah.
Not oozy at all by the Sacramento Kings. And you're saying offensively go into their chest.
Yes.
Saying. And defensively, though, because that's kind of where you were starting with where you were really disappointed. It was like they weren't disciplined. They didn't feel like they had that energy that we've seen before on the defensive end, where they're like, oh, you already knocked down 3 deep shots on us. We're not going to let you do it again. But D'Angelo Russell kept doing it, and he did it over and over again. Now, they held him to 2 points in that second half, but then you had another guy step up in Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and I think listening to Mike Brown talk about things after the game, he was obviously frustrated with defense, and he's trying to figure out, okay, how can I play some of my best defensive guys when it seems like my best defensive guys can't do anything offensively? How do I get that balance? And it's been tough. The one thing I would say is I thought Davion Mitchell popped watching that game. Like, I felt like not only was he doing it defensively like he does all the time, he's into D'Angelo Russell. He's flying everywhere to help. Hey, weak side corner, I got to get there. I'm going to get there. You need me to defend Ant-Man for a little bit? Ant-Man's got him in the post, knocks the ball away, steal. They're going the other way. He set guys up. He was attacking. He had a couple of great takes to the basket. Then you look, he played 17 minutes, only played 1 minute in the fourth quarter. If you're talking about getting stops, maybe that's a guy you got to play more. And you have to trust that the offense will come for him. I know he hasn't been consistent offensively, but to me, Davion Mitchell needs more time to show what he can do out there.
Yeah, and I think for sure you have to be efficient with the time that you are getting, but when you're asking a guy to execute his role, and Davion Mitchell's role is obviously to be this elite defender, on-ball defender, especially on that end of the floor, but then to be able to produce something on the offensive end of the floor as well. Not to be their key scorer, not to be their key guy on that end, but to produce. And Davion Mitchell is capable of producing. I think the only thing that, a few things I would like to see him get better at on that end of the floor would be not only his outside shot, mid-range and everything, but when he does cross a guy up, like, how else can you create? How else can you be a playmaker? I think he does a fantastic job of getting guys going one way and can get to the rack. Sometimes it's his size that will be the only thing that doesn't allow him to finish. And then there's other times he just goes straight at it, stays square, and gets this nice lane to the basket. So for him, sure, more time would allow him to be able to produce even on that end of the floor. But Mike Brown, he's really strict with some of his rotations. When he's given KZ Okpala, he gave him like 4 minutes early on in that game, and then he has a terrible corner three and doesn't do something else on the offensive end, close out too hard on a guy. And it's like, no, you're done. Leash short. Bye.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I felt like he was rushing things, but I also think there's an immense amount of pressure when you tell a guy, it's like, you have to do this offensively. And then he's overthinking it a little bit because his leash is so short. And it's like, no, just play your game. Go out there, get some stops. If you got an open look and you feel like you could take it, go ahead. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of difference you see from this team tonight. This is a game that I think is pretty important just to see how they respond, especially with what Russell did last game. I mean, even Gobert had a really good game. He is questionable again for tonight's game. Let's check in on the phones at 1-800-920-1140 with our guy, Casey. What's up, Casey?
Hi, Deuce Mo.
Oh,
What's up?
I literally, my heart was hurting on Sunday after that championship game. It was made worse by that terrible Kings loss on Saturday.
What didn't you like about the Kings game?
I don't know. It's just when they get down, it's like I have no confidence in this team to come back. And when they get up big leads, I'm like, how soon are they going to blow it? It's like this pessimism for years of being a Kings fan. It's like sticking with me.
Yeah. By the way, sticks with a lot of fans out there. If one thing happens, it just feels like an avalanche. It's like, oh, is this when it all falls apart? I hear you, Casey. Well, hey, I hope your heart feels better if they win tonight.
I would also like to say that I called you on Thursday, and I was like, I'm like LeBron in the White House, like, Mama, I made it. I listened to it like 40 times. I took 3 buses to get to college. I listened to it the whole way.
Oh,
You're LeBron at the White House, Mama. I made it. Oh, I love it, Casey. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed your appearance.
I want to keep doing it. You guys are the best.
All right.
Thanks, Casey. So sweet.
Oh, Casey,
that's so cool.
He loved this moment, man.
He's making me feel good.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really nice.
Hey, what's up, Daniel?
Deuce Mo, good to hear you guys back on the radio.
Dude, appreciate it.
Thanks. Oh, wait, Daniel. He's going to go off for a second. Hold on. Here we go.
Where are you listening? Are you listening on the radio?
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right, fair. No, that's fine. Hey, we're on the radio, but you should check out the YouTube feed sometime, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
I'm at work, so I can't.
What, they block? You don't have internet at work?
No,
okay.
no, but I'm outside, so.
Okay, you're
there
good.
we go,
You're good. All right, all right. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
Okay, so the 49ers went through 4 quarterbacks, and I was looking back, and I was searching, going, I don't think any team has ever done that throughout the entire season. They went to their 4th-string quarterback, got their 4th-string quarterback hurt, had to bring their 3rd-stringer back in, and he just had to fill in, and he couldn't throw anything. So I thought the play where he got hurt, I thought that was Shanny's fault. And I told my friend, and he goes, oh, that's crap. I think you're full of it. Going into the halftime, Howie Long, that was his first comment. He said, why do you have a backup tight end blocking the second leading sack leader in the NFL?
Yeah.
Then J.J. Watt tweeted the same thing.
Hey,
You brought that up too, Deuce.
I agree, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we were talking about. We're like, hey, there could be situations maybe in this game where you got to have Kittle, protect a little bit. But you go with your backup tight end against this freak?
And he got blown up. He just got blown up.
Absolutely blown up. And that guy wreaked havoc on the Niners in that game. He was one of the best defensive players you saw the entire weekend with what Hassan Reddick was able to do. I mean, it was the big sack. He recovered Johnson's fumble. He was getting after guys, playing physical. He was great.
You guys, but I will say this too. It's obviously a physical game. Freak things happen and guys get hurt on random play. I mean, look at Nick Bosa on the sideline, right? When he was not even playing.
You mean when he got cleated and he said it was like 2 inches into his calf and he was bleeding the entire game?
And it's like, my point is, it's like, I think sometimes we do look for something to blame, although I don't think that you're necessarily wrong with your assessment on it. I just don't want to try and blame that whole thing on Shanahan, because guys do just get hurt in this physical
and
game.
one thing, Daniel, before you continue, Shanahan was asked about that after the game. He says it's a tough block, but all play actions are tight end versus edge rushers. They had us on a number of those today. So he was just saying that, you know what, that we've done that before, and it's been okay.
Yeah, but not with that guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
Saying, I said, this is the wrong guy to play that, to call that play against. Yeah. And I'm looking at his entire 6 years with the 49ers. Shanahan doesn't tend to protect his players much. That's why we've gone through quarterbacks constantly. Our quarterbacks are constantly hurt.
Yeah, but some of that wasn't just players. Shanahan. I mean, remember Garoppolo tore his ACL in a run against the Chiefs.
It was that is true. But in this play yesterday, Shanahan called it again with Josh Johnson in there, and he got sacked right off the bat.
Ooh, I like this conspiracy. I like this.
It's not a conspiracy. I think he's saying it's mismanagement, and Shanahan should be on the hot seat, according to Daniel.
You guys, but no, hear me out on this though too. It's like, okay, but then Jimmy Garoppolo, for example, he put guys in such bad positions of where he would throw the football. I mean, how many times did George Kittle, would there be some a corner or whoever right there ready to just knock him down and put him on the ground because Garoppolo isn't leading him with the pass, or he's throwing it into just a bad position. And my point is like, there's going to be people that put guys in bad positions. I think the quarterback situation though, I think we're looking for someone to blame.
All right, Daniel, we're up against it, but we appreciate you.
Thanks.
There's Daniel checking in. But I do think that play was significant. And I think most people point that and go, yeah, that was a mistake. We got a lot to get to coming up. At noon, we've got Herm Edwards. When we come back, we can talk more about championship weekend and, of course, what went down with the Sacramento Kings. It's all straight ahead on Sactown Sports. Hey, Duck Nuts 6. So proud of you two. Saw you and Morgan at the game the other day. I waved and said hi, but you're busy. Looked like you're running to do post game.
Tingle time.
Single time for Morgan. Well, appreciate you. Let's get to 100 thumbs up. We're close. We are close. Man, it's just when you lose that way, it's just so deflating because you want to assume, oh, you can get back there. You can just, it's all right. Man, it's so hard to get back. It really is. And think about how magical it seemed like this year was for the 49ers.
What was worse, this year or last year?
This year, for sure.
This year?
Yeah, because, I mean, last year hurt because you could have won it with a pick, I guess. But I think you felt like Purdy was getting the most out of the weapons. You had McCaffrey as a weapon. You clearly upgraded there. We didn't talk about you. They didn't have Elijah Mitchell yesterday. And your defense was playing at a top-notch level. It just feels like last year hurt for sure, but at least you felt like you, as a fan, you had a chance to win that game, where this game fell over at halftime.
So this year more disappointing. Last year it just hurt.
I think this year really hurts too, though. I don't know. Again, I'm not a Niners fan, so I guess I shouldn't be trying to answer that question. Yeah, that's a good question for the Niner fans. What Joe Staley said yesterday. Amazing season by my Niners. Very hard to win when you're on your fourth quarterback. Niners would smoke every other team in the NFC besides the one they face tonight.
I'm at least happy they're not saying Josh Johnson by name.
What do you mean?
We're not going to win because, I mean, really, what are you saying? We can't win with Josh Johnson.
Yeah, there's no chance in hell with Josh Johnson. Yeah, that's funny.
God, that story would have been so cool.
But even if they get through this game, let's say Purdy doesn't get hurt and somehow they get just kind of through it. Then you're still probably without Purdy. And then you start getting the conversation, oh, can Jimmy G be ready for the Super Bowl? I mean,
it's just
you were done with the Purdy injury. It was over.
I would have loved all that drama, though.
Well, sure. It would have been a good problem to have. Oh, we are one away from 100 thumbs up. Let's get there before we come back. Bruce says, loving the sound of Niner fans in tears on a Monday. Damn, Bruce, you are brutal.
Damn, Bruce. Yeah. Super annoying.
Chris, let me text you Herm Edwards' number for noon. He just answers, hello.
Dude, watching the TVs on in here.
I know he's on both TV screens in the last few minutes.
Yeah. No, has been doing multiple shows.
Yeah.
Just
watch him like, oh, I forgot about this one. So sorry, guys.
he's super nice. He always says yes to you.
Yeah. Yeah, and they lose D'Amico Ryans. Oh, it looks like he's going to end up going to be the next head coach of the Houston Texans. Good luck.
Wow. Yeah.
But that's a tough loss for the Niners. We'll talk more of that. We got Amil Fragoso coming in at 1. Talk some Niners with us too. Loki says a Niners Chiefs Super Bowl would have been unwatchable for me. Oh, you must be a Raider fans, huh? Raider fan, I get that.
Unwatchable, but you still would have watched it, right?
We were supposed to do dog of the day here. I just realized I should have said that, but should I just do it here? Should we just do it here? Or no?
Yeah.
Save it.
Do what here?
Dog of the day.
Let's do it.
Just on the.
No. On the show.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey,
That's on
in the chat, if you have a dog of the day, dog of the weekend, let us know.
Live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
Oh, yes, if you're in the YouTube chats. If you're not, you got to get there, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Hit the thumbs up button so this channel will continue to grow. It's Deuce Mason. It's Morgan Reagan. It's a Monday. And that's kind of deflating. I almost don't like it.
I love it.
That means we hit 100 thumbs up on YouTube.
So 200 and 300 thumbs up are a lot better than that. Let's get to 200, baby.
Yeah, let's do it. We got a lot to get to coming up in a bit. We got Herm Edwards. But every weekend, we see a lot of games. We got football games.
Yeah.
You got hoops. You got some dogs. It's time for the dog of the day.
Closing time.
No, not closing time yet.
I'm so embarrassed right now.
That'd be cool. Oh,
and
what?
for some reason,
yeah,
it just erased from our.
The dog of the day erased. We don't
I
need
want to
imaging.
go press it. I want to go press it.
I don't care.
Closing
Don't
time
even need
plays.
it. Don't even need it.
This
Ready?
is live. We don't need it. It's time for a dog of the day. And you're going, what's a dog of the day? It's the person who gives you a little bit of something that just fires you up, that leads you to maybe be more inspired the next day.
Yeah.
Watching all the sports this weekend. Dogs of the day. If you have a dog of the day, you can hit us up in the YouTube chat. You can also hit us up at 1-800-920-1140 or 339-1140. Morgan, who's your dog of the weekend?
No, don't start with me. You
got
guys.
it, man. Fine, I'll go. I'll go.
Yeah.
My dog of the day is quite simply that freak from Kansas City. Everyone talking about all week, it's Burrowhead. It's Burrowhead. No, it's Mahomes' house.
Oh,
and this guy,
Mahomes' house.
Morgan,
Yeah.
this guy's limping around.
Yep.
High ankle sprain. You don't play with a high ankle sprain. You saw him at times literally landing on his one foot because his right foot's all messed up. He couldn't run the ball except late in the game. He might have gotten some help. Maybe there's a hold. It didn't matter. 3rd and 4, they needed a first down. He got a first down. This guy made some big throws.
Yep.
And even though he was on one leg, he led his team to a Super Bowl appearance. The 3rd time he has been in a Super Bowl. He's only 27 years old. My dog
Okay.
of the weekend.
There we go. More barking. Yeah, I'm with you. That's a good dog of the day. I'm totally with you. I think
Patrick LaVon Mahomes the second.
By the way, glad you approve, as if like your disapproval would have meant anything.
No. And I don't care about your approval or your disapproval. Really don't give a damn. But my whole point to that is he is also my dog of the weekend because I'm only going to have a bad dog. But before we get to my bad dog, I'd rather get to Chris's good dog.
We're gonna save your bad dog for last. I want to hear Chris's good dog. I got one more too.
See, I don't have good dog.
You just have a dog.
I have good dogs.
Oh,
Wrexham AFC in the 5th division of soccer. So first you got the Premier League, 1, then a level down 2, then a level down 3, then a level down 4. These guys are lower in the totem pole than the River Cats are.
Okay. Now you're getting me sucked back in, okay?
They take it to Sheffield United, championship team in the FA Cup. They are moments away from losing, but they can't hold on. These are guys that have other jobs. This is like their side hustle is being a professional footballer.
Okay.
They're going to a replay against Sheffield United, who scored first minute. He's like, all right, Cinderella story, done. They're going to the replay. I think they're going to go one more round. I think they got it in them.
Okay.
Those are my dogs of the week.
I got one more
right,
dog,
Chris.
and I gotta be honest, I didn't think someone in the YouTube chat would have the same one as me. My guy just Sue. I'm giving it to the ring general, the guy in the Royal Rumble who was in there at number 1 and lasted a Royal Rumble record 70 plus minutes before that fraud Cody Rhodes eliminated him.
Who?
Gunther.
Who? Gunther. Yeah, dude.
Gunther is a badass.
He's
dude.
a big human being.
Oh my! He lost a whole bunch of weight. He's one of the more entertaining guys. Guy was 70 plus minutes in the ring.
Amazing. No, I don't care. Anyone that doesn't understand wrestling, and even like wrestling's fake, it doesn't matter. You're still putting a lot of physical activity into those minutes when you're into the ring performing live in front of that crowd. So I like that one.
All right,
You know what? I'm going to add another one to that.
Oh!
How about Rhea Ripley going an hour in the Women's Royal Rumble?
Thank
She
you.
didn't just fizzle out and just lose. She went on to win the whole damn thing.
Dude, and she had a bloody nose like in the first few minutes.
Straight up dog.
Did you just see? You know what? I'm not taking it away, but don't try to take something away from Gunther, who was battered and bruised, taking shots left and right the whole match.
Okay.
Okay, who's your bad
Rhea Ripley with the whole
dog?
match.
Yeah.
Not with the physicality of
okay.
Gunther.
Okay. Fine. They can both win, you guys. Okay. I this week have a bad dog
Okay.
of the weekend. Okay. My bad dog of the weekend is going to be Joey Bosa. And my reasoning, though, I have multiple bad dogs. The person taking the video harassing him, also a bad dog. The whole situation, bad dogs. We don't need to do that. We're human beings, right? Like, but if someone is going to harass you, don't bite. Don't give in to their harassment. And what does Joey Bosa do? He calls him out by saying, hey, I'm rich and you're poor. Wow. Good one, Joey Bosa. We're so happy for you and your awful personality that you have so much money to be a D-bag all the time. I don't care. I just don't like him. Bad dog of the day or the weekend.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. No, that's a great
Thank you.
one. I'm not surprised that a Bosa brother
I know.
would do something like that.
I'm rich. We're so happy for you. So happy.
Free from Aggie on the chat says, dog of the weekend, Pat Bev bringing a DSLR camera for an unofficial review. I could not stand that he did that, dude. Like,
So many people liked it, though. So many people online. The internet loved it. They were like, this is the best technical ever. And it would have been, but at the same time, Pat Beverly just does too much of it, right? Too much. Now, 5 years down the line, maybe I'll look back and I'll appreciate that time that Pat Beverly used theatrics and props to get that technical. But at the same time, right now, I'm just like, I'm over that man. I'm over him.
So the Lakers, by the way, who were so upset because a missed call went against the Lakers. I mean,
First
LeBron
time, huh?
was breaking.
First time.
LeBron threw a temper tantrum, right?
Oh.
Absolute temper tantrum.
Yes.
Breen even said in his call, and that's the game. And they realized, oh, wait, the game's not over. Why is LeBron acting like this is the worst thing that's ever happened in the history of the game? So you would think like maybe the Lakers would be like, oh, we got to come out. We play the Nets coming up on Monday. We really got to bring it. LeBron and AD not playing against the Nets. Oh, you're going to take your ball and go home after losing to the Celtics. You're not going to go head-to-head with the Nets. You're just going to throw that game away. We got to talk about officiating because it was a big theme of the weekend. But beyond disappointing to see the NBA world and the media would be like, man, the Lakers, there's been really some bad calls against them, as if no other team in the NBA this year has faced bad calls. It was so bad that the NBA officials' Twitter feed.
This.
This is pretty bad, Morgan.
No, it's really bad.
The NBA referee's Twitter account, after all this happened, you had LeBron throwing a temper tantrum. He got fouled, absolutely. They still had a chance to go win in overtime, but hey, we'll move on from that. They tweet out, like everyone else, referees make mistakes. We made one at the end of last night's game, and that is gut-wrenching for us. This play will weigh heavily and cause sleepless nights as we strive to be the best referees we can be.
That's our damn.
I saw this and I said, is this sarcasm, Deuce?
I genuinely thought it was like one of those fake accounts.
Thank you. I did too, because everyone can do the blue check mark thing or something. And I was like, is this real or fake? And it sounds like it was real. Weird.
And for me, it rubs me the wrong way because it's the Lakers that get the reaction.
LeBron gets the reaction. It's like
how many teams around the NBA would love to have an apology from the NBA referees, but it's the Lakers after a missed call goes against them.
And
Just
LeBron
bizarre.
having this bizarre tantrum after. Like that we're gonna apologize. Like you're not holding people accountable. You don't do that. Ugh.
We got a lot to go over the next couple hours. We are live until 2 p.m. Pacific time, Monday through Friday. And coming up next, a former NFL head coach and ESPN NFL analyst, one of the great guys in the biz, Herm Edwards, joins us at noon on Sactown Sports. Tinkle time. I'll be right back.
Oh my God, I'm so one of those days where I'm just like annoyed. I mean, always with Deuce, yes, but I'm talking about just like the apology that was put out by the refs. That was stupid.
We're gonna find out there's been so many that have been in the drafts for the Kings.
How funny would that be?
I didn't realize these didn't go through.
Screenshots of these have been in our drafts for the last few months, geared toward the Sacramento Kings, and all of our apologies, starting with the one with Tyler Hero's travel on that game 3. Oh my God. Too funny. Tyler, killing it again, guys. Love you, Tyler. Dude, thanks for the support. Yeah, I think sometimes you feel different when you're just like flowing with a 3-hour show in a different studio, but second week feeling good and excited that you guys are all here joining us. That's so dope. Truly. Keep hitting that thumbs up too. I want to hear the 200 likes bell. 200 likes bell.
I don't know if I want to get to 300 likes because I think it's been built up so much that it's not going to meet expectations.
I know. Well, those couple of days, it was just like skyrocketing, and it was like, okay, keep that going. But you got to come back down to earth a little bit. So that 200, though, maybe that's where you should really. No. Keep it at 300. I like it. Patrick says, Morgan, the NBA hates our Kings. I wouldn't say that. I think if anything, it's good for the NBA when a story like the Sacramento Kings, like they're doing better. It's not only great for the city, it's great for the league. But the officials don't respect the Kings over the years and certain players. And I think that whole narrative, like, oh, you got to be a superstar to get those calls. How about we just call the game how it should be called? And that's fairly.
Also, appreciate people in the YouTube chat still submitting dogs of the weekend, including one person submitting Sami Zayn as the dog of the weekend for hitting Roman Reigns. Where did that go? Yeah. That was great.
Oh, yeah.
Great storyline.
That whole situation, fantastic.
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the love.
I already saw that.
Make sure you spread the word about the show, too. Let people know about it. Tell your friends. Spread it on social media. Send us pictures of you guys watching live.
Yeah.
We're going to keep growing this bad boy.
Thank you guys, too, for jumping on board right away after 1 week of this. It's been a really, really cool journey so far. And it's like, hey, we're just trying to get more and more people to know that now we're on daily. So
Sean says LeBron getting an apology from the refs is ridiculous. No, it really was. The whole thing was just ridiculous. And in some ways, you're like, good. I'm glad the Lakers are bringing attention to the poor officiating, but this is not an exclusive thing to the Lakers, even if they want to make it seem that way, going, this has happened to us before. No, it's just happening too much in the league. The league is in a transitional period with officials. They lost a lot of longtime officials for a variety of reasons. And now they're in a situation where they have all these young people as officials. Yeah. And they make a lot of mistakes, and you could see the frustration from fans, from players. I think the disappointing thing is it's happening so many times late in the game.
That's where it's frustrating, but it's also frustrating when certain calls you see, you go, well, so-and-so is getting that call. If this is a Lakers game, if this is a Grizzlies game, if this is a Warriors game. And you want those biases to be taken out of it. I mean, when I used to officiate, like some youth basketball.
You officiated youth basketball?
I did everything. I was just trying to make money and like have little jobs. And I mean, I officiated really young basketball, but I remember whenever there was like an annoying kid, there's something about it that irks you the wrong way. So when they have like an extra move to the basket and they're every single time looking at you like, that's a foul. And it's like, it's not a foul. You're annoyed by them, right? And then you have these biases build up.
Okay. Herm Edwards isn't answering because of you, just so you know.
Because of me?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I'll shoot him a text and say, hey, we just try to give you a call. Just try him
again
in a
he
few
probably
minutes.
doesn't know what number that is, too.
Yeah.
I was going to...
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. The Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possession. Then it went from bad to worse when the backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with a concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight, and they'll look to bounce back from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to the rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-out scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. 12 o'clock, and now more of the Deuce and Mo Show.
We are live and local.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Watch the show now on YouTube.com/Sactown Sports 1140 or listen for free on the Sactown Sports app.
Oh yes, Juice Mason, Morgan Reagan on a Monday. So much to go over after the heartbreak of what went down on Sunday in Philly and what Patrick Mahomes did. What a performance.
That was great.
By an icon who's 27 years old.
Icon.
No, he is. People can try to take shots. We've never seen anything like him. He is incredible. What he did yesterday was legendary. Now we have a Super Bowl that is making NFL history. The first time ever we have two black quarterbacks going head to head with Jalen Hurts taking on Patrick Mahomes, two really talented young quarterbacks. And both guys kind of banged up. Hurts with the shoulder, Mahomes with the ankle. They do have a couple of weeks to heal on up, but we're still trying to deal with the hangover of what went down for the Niners. It hurt big time. We got Herm Edwards coming up in just a few minutes, and we got to talk more about the Kings coming up this hour. This road trip, we knew, it's not every game in the West is tough. I just think this game against Minnesota tonight is a significant one. I feel like it's a big one. I want to see how they responded because I think they need to play with more physicality. You could talk about, they got to have that type of mindset. I saw enough of that in that fourth quarter. So let's see what the Kings can do later tonight. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes. But now let's bring on a guy that is one of the best in the business.
The best.
He's all over your TV screens this morning,
yes,
breaking everything down. He's one of our favorites. He's a former NFL head coach. He's played the game. He's coached it at all levels. And, of course, he's an awesome analyst on ESPN. He's the one and only Herm Edwards. How you doing, Herm?
I'm well. Thank you for having me on your show. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, we appreciate you joining us. We're, of course, kind of dealing with the aftermath of what went down in the NFC Championship game. I mean, it's just unbelievable that the Niners had to go to a fourth-string guy. Can you think of a championship game as bizarre as the one that we saw yesterday in Philly?
No, you really felt bad for 49ers fans, obviously, and I think you guys know my relationship with John Lynch. I talked to him yesterday, and just told him, I said, "Hey, man, I feel bad for you guys because you come so far, and you've already had issues with the quarterback, with guys getting hurt, and to see that happen to you, it was just a shame, because it was going to be a great game, and I think it still was. Their defense played outstanding. I think the NFL needs to look at that rule about really having that third quarterback activated, and not count him as a roster spot, because when something like that happens, it hurts the game. It really does. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, we that was something that we were even discussing earlier. And that was like the identity of the game too, right? It was hard at times to be like, the Eagles are doing this well, or the penalties that were being called. There's a lot of things going on, but if you're with the Niners, what do you even tell your team after a loss like that? Because I felt like the game was over at the half.
Well, no doubt, and they're a crew that obviously takes a lot of pride in just being tough-minded and just playing to the echo of the whistle, especially on defense. And offensively, same thing. I mean, this team was built the right way. And when you lose the quarterback, I mean, everybody can kind of sense what's going on. But you're just hoping you can make a play on special teams, and that's where the defense sits there and goes, okay, if we don't let them score, they can't win. I mean, that's the mentality you take, right? But eventually you're playing a good team too in the Philadelphia Eagles, right? I mean, their defense is pretty good too. And so now you sit in a position where the only way we can do it is maybe get a turnover or two on defense and maybe make a special teams play.
I know as a former coach, you probably loved when idiots like us hosting shows and in the media would criticize something that went down. But I think a lot of people and fans are talking about, and even on the broadcast yesterday, they were talking about the play where Purdy got hurt. I mean, you have your backup tight end trying to block one of the premier pass rushers in the game this year, and Hassan Reddick. What do you think of that decision? And maybe how could the 49ers have done better in that situation?
Well, you don't always know what front they're going to actually line up in.
Yeah.
It'd be easy if you knew what they were going to do all the time, right? But it was just one of those. It was the wrong play to be called at that time when the Eagles were in that mode of Hassan Reddick. But he had a great game. I mean, he was a disruptor. And look, this team, Philadelphia, it had 70 sacks. Right, so it's not like, okay, they're pretty good too, by the way.
Yeah,
and it's just a shame that happened to Purdy. He gets hurt, and you can see it. And then the other kid goes in there and does okay, and then all of a sudden he leaves with I guess a concussion. It looked like.
Oh man.
So what are they going to do now? And at one time they were talking about McCaffrey maybe playing quarterback. I'm going, oh boy.
Yeah,
this is really hard.
Were you thinking by any chance, like, hey, they should go with McCaffrey? Because when they started putting Brock Purdy back in there with no arm, I'm like, what are you supposed to do? Did you want Shanahan to go in a different direction?
Well, look, we saw McCaffrey on the one play where they tossed him and he threw it. And if that was any signs of it, I was going, no, they better keep the other guy in there. He starts throwing it. And this could be bad. They could probably, they'll intercept the ball and everything else. So I just think they were in a game where they knew when the quarterback got hurt, defensively, the defense knew it and offense knew it. They said, look, we're going to have to make some plays in the running game, try to get in the field goal position when we can. And if the defense can help us and get a turnover or two, we can stay in this game. And they played out that way. And the Eagles are a team, obviously, that they understood that they had a lead. And what Hurst did, I thought he did a great job of. He wasn't going to turn the ball. They said if we don't turn the ball over, they can't beat us, and it came to fruition.
Yeah, it's just so tough too, and so deflating when you're in the situation. You're sitting on the sideline going, we don't really have a shot. If we can't throw the ball, we don't have a shot in this game. And they were literally
hard to watch.
Man,
yeah, it was hard to watch because you could feel it, and I look at it as a player. I always look at things through the eyes of a player because obviously I had this opportunity to play, and you go, this is really hard. I mean, it's really hard. And it was all about special teams. If they could get a turnover, do something defensively to give them a spark, where they could stay in this game. And Philadelphia Eagles were on task. They ran the ball. They weren't going to turn it over. They played conservative, and that's all they needed to do.
Yeah, we're hanging out with Herm Edwards. And Herm, the defense, too, I thought the Niners did a pretty solid job for the most part, but it seemed like that near the end of that second quarter on that drive, some big-time penalties, some questionable ones. I felt like that was the other theme coming out of Championship Sunday is we had a lot of people talking about the officials in both games and how much that impacted things. Well, what do you think of what went down?
Yeah, I mean, there's you always look at games that way and say, could the officials done it a little bit different? And obviously penalties hurt them as well, because you almost got to play perfect. Once your quarterback's put down, you almost got to play perfect. I mean, they missed the call. They missed the call of the catch. I mean, there's no doubt. But the Eagles were smart enough to get up on the ball and go.
Yeah, that one hurt because I'm looking at that play, Herm, going, everyone's saying, hey, Shanahan should have reviewed it. But with this NFL replay assist, you would love that if the guys in New York would be able to determine that rather than counting on Shanahan realizing it without the angle, maybe trying to call a timeout. That was really a tough sequence for the Niners.
It is a tough sequence because I know that as a head coach, sometimes, depending where the ball is being thrown or where it happens, you're away from it. You can't see it. And you're hoping the guys in the box can see it. And they're not quite for sure. They're looking at the TV monitor, too, trying to figure out, coach, you need to throw the flag. Well, you're sitting in the position, and it's a close game at that point. So it's like, okay, this is important. And then you're hoping the officials might get it right, and smart by the Eagles. They jumped up on the ball, and, and every offense has that in their system that when it looks like it's getting close to the sideline of play, we want to make sure they don't, try to look at it. Then go fast. And that's what they were able to do and got the playoff.
Yeah. And that's where you got to give that team credit, right? For just being smart, making that happen quick. And okay, I want to ask you about Brock Purdy and his future with the 49ers. Do you think the 49ers have seen enough and that's the direction that they're going to go with?
Well, just me from the outside, I mean, I do. I think he wanted, to put itself in position now where they're in a good position. They have a younger quarterback they like that got hurt, that they drafted. Do they sit there, and this is a discussion between John and the head coach and everyone else involved in the organization, what do? Do we, look for some options to trade this other guy and go with Brock Purdy and then get another guy, Or do they make a competition? It'll be an interesting scenario. I know this. Purdy has won the locker room.
Ooh.
There's no doubt. He has won those players in the locker room. And listen, this is the key. What does Coach Shanahan want? Does he want a quarterback to play on script, or does he want one to play off script? And if you have a quarterback that plays off script, that's not always in structure, then that's fine. He's going to make a lot of plays, and we know who they are. Josh Allen, Mahomes, we know who those guys are. They play off script. Well, you got to be willing to let them do that as a coach. Is that Coach Shanahan's philosophy? He's going to have to wrestle with that. So it'll be interesting to see which way they go.
We got to talk about this AFC Championship game. Mahomes, it's crazy that I shouldn't be surprised because we have just seen this guy do incredible things on the football field. But when you see a guy that's fresh off a high ankle sprain, he's jumping around on one leg at times, dealing with it. He can't run except that big 3rd and 4 that was massive in the game. What jumped out to you about what he was able to do in that AFC Championship game?
Well, I think his leadership inspires that football team. And I think that team in general, they were tired of hearing about Joe Burrows and the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's not Joe Burrow's fault. I mean, all they can do is go play, and they happen to beat him 3 times in a row. And regardless of his ankle, he was still magnificent in the pocket. He's very accurate. And this is where his arm talent comes in, because at times, he has such great arm talent. He doesn't have to use his legs on some of those throws, where a lot of quarterbacks have to use their legs. He does not have to because of where he can put that ball and throw it from different slots. But it didn't surprise me about him. I mean, when he went back in that other game, and everybody was questioning, was he going to play? I remember I was on TV and they said, he might not. I looked at him, I said, are you kidding me? This guy's going to play? I mean, what do you mean he's thinking about playing? He's going to play. And he played. And he played well.
He did. And then obviously that his one and only run of the game, truly, when he got that first down and then getting out of bounds, that late hit on Osai. That was such obviously like the game-winning play right there. But if you're someone like Osai, you're 22 years old, you're looking at that situation, your teammates are yelling at you in the locker room. What should be
some of them supported him,
and some of them supported him. What do you think his mindset really is today? Do you think it should be more like, look, he didn't lose the game, Mahomes won the game with that run?
Yeah, I don't think he can say that. And I would think that team, the way it's built, those guys they'll come to comfort him. And look, I've been involved in that championship game 3 times in my NFL career. One as a player, when we beat the Dallas Cowboys and went to the Super Bowl. The other 2 times were as a coach. And I do know this. When you rewind the game, there is more than just one play. There's some numerous plays that probably pop up and you go, you know what, if we'd have done that, we might have had a chance. And here's the sad part about that game. There's a finality to it. When you lose that game, the championship game, boy, it's hard to recover. I mean, it took me at least a week because you understand all that was put into this season to get to that game. And when you lose it, you go home. And you're like every other team in the National Football League now. You're going to watch the Super Bowl and go say, you know what? We're 1 game away from getting into the Super Bowl. Can we get there again next year? Now, a lot of these teams that were in the playoffs this year, 49ers being one of them, they'll be knocking on the door against next year, but there's no guarantee.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we went to a Super Bowl 15, didn't play very well, got beat against the Raiders. We were the favorite going in. And we thought the next year, hey, we got a good team. We're going to get back in there. Well, we got to the playoffs and got knocked off and never went again. In my 35 years of being in the National Football League, I was in 3 championship games. 1 we won, and the other 2 we lost, and I only been to 1 Super Bowl.
And that's the pain that you see in a locker room after games. That's why you see Niners players in tears and Bengals players in tears, because you're right. There's just no guarantee. And every fan's like, oh, next year you could do it. It's hard to get there. There's a lot of luck sometimes that's involved. It's injury stuff. And it's just wild how fast things can change, which also I think makes it even more crazy how the Niners even got to where they did, considering going through all those quarterbacks. It's insane.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. Think about it this way. They've got a bright future, San Francisco. And not just because, you know, John Lynch is like a son to me, and not just the way they do things, the way that team is built. Because remember this. I went to the Kansas City 49er game. I was at that game. And I watched the Kansas City Chiefs kind of demolish the 49ers. And from that day forward, they just got better. This team has the makeup of losing that football game, it'll make them better because that's how they're built. They got enough guys in that locker room that are built that way.
I know we got a couple weeks till the Super Bowl, but, you know, Eagles, Chiefs, do you have a feel either way at this point? Of course, there's a lot of questions about the health of both quarterbacks.
You're right. And the problem I got, well, that's not a problem, but I played for one of those teams for about 10 years.
Yeah.
And the other one, I was in that organization for about 10 years, one time as the head coach and the other time as assistant coach. So I'm just kind of going to stay neutral right now.
That's tough. That is really tough. Yeah, you have emotions. You have ties to both teams. Well, Herm, we appreciate you hopping on with us for a bit. You're the best, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the Super Bowl.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
Herm.
you. That's the one and only Herm Edwards. Just the nicest guy.
Always.
And, yeah, that's going to be tough. I mean, and Andy Reid. How about Andy Reid taking on his former team? He spent so much time in Philly, and now he's going head-to-head. Andy Reid, by the way, I'm so glad he's getting the love over the last couple of years that he deserves. For so long, it was like jokes about Andy Reid. Couldn't win the big one. Here's the reality. The guy wins every year. It doesn't matter who's there, whatever. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Deuce Mo on Sactown Sports.
Whew.
Shout out to the YouTube feed. Appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
John C. says, long live Herm. He was doing dirty at ASU.
Dude, Herm is the best. I mean, literally, the guy, talk about someone who just grinds. He just grinds. He does it all. Talks.
By the way, someone on the YouTube page,
Yeah.
Not in our chat, but someone commented saying that we say that to guests all the time. You're the best.
Do we?
I mean, we do, but a lot of times we feel that way.
I was going to say, is there anyone that I have had on that I don't feel like that?
Yeah.
Love Matt Mayoko. Love Mark Jones.
My baby.
Oh my God. And Chris Peterman. If we
Peterman!
didn't say that to him, I feel like he is the best. Did we call Mike Bibby the best?
Probably.
Okay.
King's Pulse. Appreciate you, Brendan. What a gift for you guys. Phenomenal interview.
Aw.
Yeah.
Can't wait to have you on sometime. Let's go.
Yes, for sure.
Alex,
Alex,
great people are all the best.
It's Deuce and Mo.
On Sactown Sports.
Yes, we are live on a Monday. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan, each and every day from 11 to 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you're just back in the town, you've been on vacation for like, what is happening? There's local coverage now on Sactown Sports. Yeah, we're going to be on Monday through Friday. Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan in our return to Sacramento's premier station.
Hey,
Sactown Sports. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to be live. Our show 11 to 2, but live and local all day, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's never been done on this station. And you can get us in a variety of ways. 11:40 a.m., of course, on the radio dial. Cool. Or the Sactown Sports app, free in the App Store. And, of course, you could join the fun, the YouTube feed, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140. Each and every show goes live. And we are interacting with you guys. I don't want you to think you go to the YouTube feed and it was just a fly on the wall and you're just staring at two people do a radio show.
No way.
No, I'm looking at you. I'm looking right at you. We're talking with you. We're going to have some fun. So if you're there, make sure to hit the thumbs up. You know, one of my favorite things, Morgan, from yesterday.
Oh, wait, can I guess?
Yeah.
One of your favorite things from yesterday. Well, I'm going to guess Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, that's one of them.
Okay.
It's from that game.
Oh, it's from that game.
After that game, huh?
Oh, after the game? Okay, tell me what.
It just goes to show you people love to make fun of wrestling, but the things that people love most about sports are all wrestling related.
There we go.
Travis Kelce after the game, literally cutting a promo after getting the trophy.
How about this beautiful trophy? Huh? Hey, I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Listen to the pop.
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Heel.
I knew he was gonna be up for one more of those.
That was great.
Heel.
You jabroni.
Well, it wasn't a heel move. That was a babyface promo. He was at home.
He's talking to Cincinnati. You got to fight for your right to party. Like even that, isn't that throwing shade?
Chris, that was a babyface promo.
Jabroni.
Oh yeah, for Kansas City. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my God, you guys are so. Ugh.
And then Frank Clark after the game. Frank Clark. This one's not getting enough attention for what he did after the game. This was the best promo of the whole weekend.
You just had a long embrace with your head coach. What did Andy Reid just say to you? Man, we did it. We did it. You know what I mean? We had to come back out here. You know, last year this time, same team sent us home, man. You know, very disappointing season. I don't know who the hell they think they was calling this Burrow head. I don't know who the hell they thought they was talking about they was going to finish us off. They'll take their bum ass back to Cincinnati. Man, they came to Chiefs and got their ass stumped off. I don't know what number one did. I told him to holler at me. I don't know what the bank. I told them all holler at me. I told them last year they didn't get my best. I told them this year they barely got my best. I told them with the playoffs though, I'm the fucking king. They gotta holler at me every fucking game. Let's go.
I'm the effing king. Take your bum ass back to Cincinnati.
Babyface.
Dude, that was incredible.
Heel or babyface?
Know your role and shut your mouth.
I mean, I these are both baby faces. They're at home in front of the home crowd.
This is how much I don't know about wrestling then. My God.
No, the Bengals came into this game as heels. They're doing a whole bunch of jaw jacking. His Burrowhead, we're walking in, acting like we're the best. They haven't won anything. They haven't had the strap.
I mean, they did beat the
Have they won
Chiefs.
a Super Bowl? Have they won a Super Bowl with that group?
No.
The Chiefs have won a Super Bowl. You're coming to their house and you're running all that smack. You better show up in a big way. The baby faces won. They cut a promo, calling out guys left and right. That was incredible.
You keep using this word jabroni, and it's awesome.
I love that he dropped a jabroni.
That was funny. That was hilarious. Hey, there's so much wrestling in sports. It's just like we were saying the other day with Joel Embiid with the crotch chop to everyone in the world.
Embiid gets fined for doing the crotch chop.
Yeah.
It all ties together. Andy Reid, do you think he ran any smack talk about the Cincinnati mayor?
No way.
All right, he was asked about the mayor of Cincinnati.
Our guys did a great job of not going that direction. Their mayor said it all. So I'm glad our mayor just did what he did, and some people heard it.
Yeah, it's people in that locker room. I love that. Like the players were more fired up about the Cincinnati mayor saying stuff. That's great.
Well, yeah. I mean, when someone's going to be that vocal and then it gets pushed around on social media, it's those little things that just amp you up. And that's what definitely got Travis Kelce.
Yeah. In the chat, Josu says the Bengals win the Arrowhead acting like they are the Memphis Grizzlies. Just doing a lot of talking and not backing it up.
Man, you got I guess I get, but at the same time, like they beat the Chiefs how many times? It was like three in a row. Yeah, 3 in a row. And it's just, I mean, they had something to go off of, but when it came to having a belt, the championship ring, no, that's where they couldn't go off of that.
Is it bad that the Cincinnati mayor is like the Spike Lee of the Cincinnati Bengals now?
Yeah,
he's getting like the blame for it.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I only know one Cincinnati mayor of all time,
Jerry Springer.
Like you need to bring that in. Like, so we need to be writing for them to talk trash in Cincinnati,
dude. So bad.
I'm looking him up now. What does he look like?
I mean, once you look, he's got a punchable face for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
All right, we got much more coming up. Let's talk some Kings and NBA straight ahead. The Lakers complaining about the officials. The Kings in a big game tonight against Minnesota. We'll do that next on Sactown Sports. You can tell, like, in the second week, Morgan is just like, clock doesn't matter to her. She's like, no, I'm not looking at it at all.
What do you mean?
You keep with the breaks coming. You're just like, oh, I'm gonna run over that. I'm not even paying attention.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, you have been the whole show. Just being
This is rude.
Technical.
Wait, why? What do you mean?
You need to come over with a camera of the clock. Show Deuce. No.
Yeah, maybe I need a clock in front of my face. I don't know. I have to look all the way to the right.
The good news is we always stay live during breaks. We just keep the show rolling on the breaks.
You're the boss. You just tell me when to stop and then I'll stop.
I try. It's hard sometimes.
Just say, hey, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
How's the chat doing today? How are you feeling after this weekend? You can make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We got to get to 200 thumbs up before 1. And I think we can do it.
Ooh.
Can we get to 200 thumbs up before 1? We have not, put it this way, we have not had a show since we've returned.
Okay.
Where we haven't gotten 200 thumbs up. So,
really?
And you're going, why does it even matter? It's all it does is just help our channel grow. This channel grow.
And to be real technical with it helps the algorithm. So then more and more people can get eyes on the show.
That's what I just said. It helps the channel grow.
No, so anyway, to get more
technical.
technical with it, it helps with the algorithms. And if you know what algorithms are, you tell me. Thank you. Hey, Deuce.
What?
Being a little, okay, even that.
No, you're
what's
can
happening?
I be honest? Can I be honest? You're being really obnoxious today. It's just very loud, very like, that's like, yeah, I just said hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel grow. Like, well, to be more specific, it's the algorithms. Like everyone's on their desk going, oh, I get it now. She said algorithms. Okay, now it makes sense. No one knows what algorithms means. It's YouTube. You hit the thumbs up, more people see it.
Hit the thumbs up if you think Deuce is being a giant ass. Hit that thumbs up. Let's hear it. Let's see it, you guys. Get those algorithms going. Come on now.
Get those algorithms going.
Yep, I said
That's
it.
not even
and if you have a problem with it, no one cares. There we go. We already got 2 people that like that. Let's go. Hey, Deuce. I'm just going to be honest.
You're being obnoxious. It's cool. It's not a big deal. We're not. What?
I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I can't wait.
No, right now, I'm going to be honest. Be a little nicer.
Jack says, this is worse than my parents arguing right before their divorce.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you're being really mean. You're kind of being mean. Chris, agree with me?
Chris, play the mediator.
I got to get set up for this sports headlines.
Is she being over the top today?
Am I being obnoxious?
No.
Thank you. And Chris would tell the truth.
You know what? I think I just have to turn down my headphones. It just seems like you're really loud in my
I would say that you're as loud as always.
Thank you.
As always. Loud as always.
You, this is only week 2, man. Woo. And like you're being a little mean.
Okay, move on. Yeah, you're making it a thing now.
Help me, Chris. Don't just stand there. Help me.
Can't trust a guy in an LA shirt. Oh, Angel City FC.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I apologize. I support women's sports. Do you do the same?
Sactown Sports
Headlines.
I'm Chris Verlad with your Sactown Sports headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possession, and then it went from bad to worse when backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with a concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. They will look to bounce back from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to the rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-off scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. It is 12:30, and it's time for more of the Deuce and Mo Show.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Shot clock at 6, game clock at 19. Anthony Edwards rocks, fires for 3, scores a triple, and that will undoubtedly be a dagger.
It was the dagger. Anthony Edwards was insane in the second half on Saturday night. The Kings start their road trip with a disappointing loss against a T-Wolves team that's playing a lot better basketball right now. It seems like they're finding a rhythm, especially without Cat. Guys are playing free. Ant had 34. He only had 8 points at halftime. D'Angelo Russell had a big game. Both guys shot efficiently. It was a really disappointing defensive effort for the Kings, and the offense wasn't going at all. These two teams play again tonight, 5 p.m. Rudy Gobert questionable at this point. Morgan Reagan.
He was questionable before last game as well, so I don't know where to really go with that. I think when you see that, you just play on like he is going to be in there. And your game plan for him, well, just don't let him out hustle you. Don't let him out body you, be more physical. Obviously, he's a bigger dude, but you just got to find ways to go at him.
Yeah, Morgan, that was my thing, and I'd like to see more of this tonight. I felt like when the Kings had success against him, they're running some pick and rolls, getting him out to defend the pick and roll. That allowed Sabonis to get some looks. I know you mentioned it too, talking about Metu getting some easy looks that way. It felt like the Kings were scared of Gobert. Any other time they had to go up against him, and they were trying to pump fake him. There's no point in pump faking Rudy Gobert. He's long. By the way, his shot blocking numbers are down this year, but when you're pump faking, it's very obvious. He's just going to stand put. He's not going to be phased by your pump fakes because he doesn't have to jump. He's one of the premier shot blockers the league has had in the last decade. I felt like they need to go at his chest a little more, and that's something that Sabonis did do in that fourth quarter.
Yeah, just understanding your personnel, right? Understanding that, like you're saying, he's not going to jump up for a shot. He doesn't need to. So how do you do that? Well, not only by going into his chest, going at him, being physical, but also look what happened. Was that the second quarter when Chimezie Metu had a few of those dunks? It was in that pick and roll. It was when Gobert was coming 2 steps over and Malik Monk and whoever else was throwing it above the rim, allowing there to be a lob threat and to get it over Gobert. So then guys wouldn't have to go directly at him, especially when his hands are up, his arms are up. It's just, it disrupts so much of everyone's game when they get into the paint.
And too many defensive mistakes. I think the other thing, when D'Angelo Russell's getting it going, and some of his stuff happened in transition, that's tough, especially off turnovers. Can you get into a guy? Can you play with some physicality? The only guy who I felt like did that in the game was Davion Mitchell. He was getting into him a little bit. He was getting in the ant at times when he had to defend him. Kings got to come out like aggressive from the start. Fox was awesome in the fourth quarter. 21 points in the fourth quarter, but he was really a non-factor offensively quarters 1 through 3, so much so that even on the broadcast, Katie's like, he looks a little tired tonight. He looks gassed. He didn't look gassed at all in that fourth quarter.
No, and he did look fatigued early on, and it was interesting to see because it was like, why would he be? I mean, the T-Wolves are the team that are playing their second night of a back-to-back, right? Like they should have been the team that looked a little bit more gassed, looked tired that night. But instead, there was your leaders looking not as filled with energy and not as engaged defensively. And we've talked about their rotation so many times and how guys were not doing a good job of closing out correctly. There was a play later on, or I believe actually it was in that second quarter, where everyone had rotated over, and then you had Malik Monk closing out on D'Angelo Russell, who had already hit 5 threes, and it was like, oh, he's not closing out on him hard enough. That's the only time where I would have been fine if with someone blowing by D'Angelo Russell or going up in the air on D'Angelo Russell, and instead it was a slow closeout. I would have rather had D'Angelo Russell, get a look for a 2-point shot.
I think there have been some games this year where Fox has made a point to come out of the gates aggressive. One of those games happened when Sabonis was out, that game in Los Angeles. I just want a little more balance. Like you can't wait till the fourth quarter. Now, he wasn't the only one. I feel like Sabonis was the same way. It was like the level of physicality kind of ticked up in the fourth quarter out of desperation. And had they had that a little sooner, maybe things go differently. I know it's unfair to act like, hey, you need that type of Fox for all 4 quarters because, I mean, that's just outrageous. The guy scored 21 points. He was playing with force. But how do they get that from the start of the game?
I mean, that's where it comes from your leaders. It comes from people setting the tones, whether it's with physicality, whether it's being engaged. Like, there's been so many times where we've said over the years, like, oh, you want your coaches to bring that out of them. But at the same time, it's like, you've got to find it from within to bring it out of yourself. You're not going to have that every game. I get that, but this is the start of a road trip. The mentality should have been different, and it wasn't. And it was frustrating to see guys like De'Aaron not have that same energy that he had in that fourth quarter, or even Domas Sabonis. I know he's coming off of 2 games with 17 turnovers combined in those 2 games, and then only finished with 3 turnovers in this game. So he's had his struggles lately, but it was like that next man up mentality. Other guys weren't stepping up either early on.
Adrian from the YouTube chat has a question, Morgan.
Yes.
You guys say they close out too hard or they don't close out well enough. Tell the people the proper way to close out, please. And thank you.
So, Adrian, the proper way to close out, and again, not acting like this is easy, especially on the NBA level. I wish I could actually jump on this desk and show you, but what I'm talking about is you really want to chop your feet, right? And if you're chopping your feet, you're able to be in a position to chop your feet and still move your hips laterally. Okay. I know this is funny that I'm showing it kind of on the YouTube stream. And by doing that, you're able to still be able to be really mobile. And so if they do pump fake you and go, you can still like find that angle to try and stay in front of them. But also by chopping your feet, you're giving yourself that option to jump up or get a hand in the face, but to also be able to backtrack as well. Does that make sense?
I think the other thing too with that on these closeouts, there have been so many times when the Kings are closing out that they're leaving their feet.
Whoa,
right? Like
so many undisciplined times.
Can you contest without leaving your feet? Some of these offensive players, and after you see a lot of tape on this, you go, oh, Sacramento loves to close out super hard on 3-point attempts. So give them one pump fake, move to your right, launch a shot. Or, hey, give them a slight pump fake. You saw it last game. Naz Reid gets it from the 3-point line. Metu comes out crashing out like it was Steph Curry launching a game winner. Yeah. And Reid just went right to the basket to score it.
Yeah. Just a lot of there's times too that you'll see guys close out and then they fully give them an angle when really you're supposed to be showing your jersey and staying squared with that guy, right? Make sure you're showing your number. You hear people say that defensively, and that is really hard. But if you obviously practice it enough and condition yourself to be able to do that with your body, you're not going to give a guy a line drive. Sure, your help, your second line of defense should be there, but at the same time, you don't want to have to depend on that. You want to put as much perimeter pressure as you can.
Are you nervous about this game tonight?
I'm not nervous, but if they don't win, I think everyone that had the hopes and dreams of them coming home 5-2 was ridiculous, just like I was saying.
The mindset you have, like as if you couldn't win 5 in a row after this. You can't win 5 in a row.
You
after
can.
This?
You totally can. It's just not going to be an easy task, especially what lies ahead, and especially being on a road trip. And as the games continue, it just sometimes gets a little harder.
Morgan, I do recall you saying that you wouldn't be surprised if the Kings had trouble with the Timberwolves.
Wait, what did I say?
You said you thought that they could have problems with the Timberwolves.
I mean, I did, right?
Yes. I'm not being sarcastic.
Okay.
I'm genuinely saying that's what you said.
I said that, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people did say that too with like, oh, let's split those games. I think sometimes people look at a record and they just like go off of that, right? And they just go, oh, okay, well, they should win this game because their record is better, or this team has lost 5. Sometimes you have to factor in a team and their want to win and like end their losing streak and all those things. And I think when you look at the Timberwolves, they've been playing better. They've been stringing some games to get together that have been better. So yeah, of course. And we haven't even talked about how it's better without Cat at times, right? They just seem like a better team. Anthony Edwards gets more of his game going, and it's just, they've got things going on.
We'll talk more about this game coming up, Kings and T-Pups. Plus, I feel like we're walking away from this weekend talking about officiating in the NBA and the NFL. How it's such a big problem right now.
Uh-oh.
And you know whose fault it is? Everyone else's fault.
Oh.
We'll talk about it. Sactown Sports. YouTube chat. Big Blue says Cat lost his mom. Yeah, he did lose her. That was a long time ago now. But yeah, that was a tragic thing he had to deal with for sure. He's dealing with this injury that's lingering. There's no timetable on his return. Peyton says you're a hater, Morgan, because your Kings take. I don't think she's a hater. I think the reality is,
I know I'm not a hater.
Minnesota's been playing some much better basketball. I mean, they're what 11. They've won 11 of 15 now, and Anthony Edwards looks like a star and a half. I found this clip from him this morning talking about how he's like, oh, I feel like every shot's going to go in now.
Yeah, he feels confident. He is a superstar in the making, if you want to call him that. Just the way that he shoots with confidence, the way that he carries himself with confidence. He is the future of this team and so much of this league that it's not about what the Kings can't do. It's about what other teams are doing with their film on the Kings, their adjustments against the Kings. Now, the Kings need to respond in tonight's game and have those same type of adjustments.
The other perspective, honestly, I have from last game, again, a loss is a loss. I get it. They lost by 7 when that team shot like 55%, hit 17 threes. And the Kings didn't play well offensively. They lost by 7 points. They were in the game. Like it's just a couple of things, and you can turn things around tonight and get the split. And I think it's important to get the split. I really do. I want the response to be appropriate tonight. You're taking on the same team again. You didn't have to travel. You're in Minnesota. You know what just happened. Like you got to respond.
Yeah. And I think these responses, I think someone else called in earlier too, and they're just like, oh, it's frustrating when I don't, I think it might've been Casey when he was like, when I don't have confidence in the Kings team, like figuring it out in the fourth quarter and getting it together, making those adjustments and winning the game. I think they've done that more this year than they have done in so many years lately. And they have that ability. They have that mindset, but this is the second half of the season. Teams are also going to have their adjustments. They're also going to be better. Some teams are getting healthier. It's going to be tough. If Nas Reed is on the trading block, Kings should be interested.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I really like
That's on the chat.
Nas Reed, but now with Cat's situation where it's like there's still no timetable on his return.
Yeah.
I don't think you move him. I think you hang on to him.
Yeah. I mean, but now they have to pay him because he's going to be a free agent, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have to move him this year. I think you could have him help this year's team. I mean,
and then figure out.
It's not like you trade him and get a ton back on an expiring deal. He doesn't make that much money.
Yeah,
it's clear he can help you off the bench.
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader,
Sactown Sports.
Oh yes, Deuce Mason, Morgan Reagan. So much talk about the officiating in the NFL yesterday on Championship Sunday. Weird calls in both games that were frustrating. Then you've got the Lakers who were so upset on Saturday night with what happened at the end of the game against the Celtics where LeBron got fouled. And then he threw a temper tantrum. Was that a temper tantrum? Is that fair?
Well, I think a lot of people said that's what my 2-year-old does when they don't get their iPad. So I'm going to go with probably yes.
Is that what a lot of people were saying?
Yeah, I think the nation was like, hey, same. It's my 2-year-old. That's what they look like.
It was just
I don't know. I feel like
pathetic. And then you had Patrick Beverly grabbing. Who is a camera guy that's like, hey, Pat Bev, you want to see what it looked like on camera? And then Pat Bev grabs the camera, shows the official. I'm so glad that official went,
get out of here.
Technical.
And not only that, though, I do think about some of these officials and I go, yeah, I don't know if we know this. They're not robots and their eyes are not DSLR cameras. So, like, they're not going to have that same lasting image in their head. Although, hey, they're making far too many mistakes in all of sports right now.
Yeah, you're even in that Niners game. There's some ticky-tack stuff that was called. How about the roughing the punter call in the Niners-Eagles game?
Oh, my God.
Where Mason literally got pushed into the punter and they go, that's a flag. The calls were ticky-tack. You saw the same thing with Burrow. There's no hit on him, but they call one on Mahomes on that 3rd and 4, which is the right call, but there was a lot of mistakes that happened. I think the other thing I try to remember, it's a transitional period for the NBA as they have all these young officials after so many of the veteran guys are gone. You start thinking about, well, why do you think officiating is bad? You know why it's bad?
Why?
Because why on earth would you want to be an official in 2023? I mean, honestly, you look there every weekend, there is some clip of some game where it's an elementary school game and these parents are in the stands just ripping these officials who are getting paid minimum wage. We treat officials so poorly. It's gotten worse. And I think some people are going, I don't want to do it. There is a ref shortage now because most people are like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And I don't blame them for not wanting to do that, especially like you're saying, where some are having to start at the lowest level of youth basketball, and it's actually scary at times, and there are threats, and it's very odd and strange that everyone feels so entitled to, make sure to yell at other human beings like they do. Like they don't, people with officiating shirts and jerseys on, the black and white stripes, it's like they're just automatically society sees red and they get angry, and it's like animal reactions of like, kill them, let's get them on. It's like, no, those are real human beings. But at the same time, I understand people's frustrations, but I don't know why everyone feels like they can take it to the next level with threats and all these different things that we have seen over the years. So I don't blame people for not wanting to be officials. How do we change that?
Some of the officials are like WWE officials nowadays. I mean, I feel like wrestling officials might be some of the worst officials out there, right?
WWE officials?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that in a storyline perspective, how officials are handled. Like one gets knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go to concussion protocol or whatever. They just lay there for a little bit. No other officials in the back come out. And then the guy comes in like, oh, I've got cobwebs. What's happening on? Okay, 1, 2, 3. But the officiating sometimes in the NFL is just as bad as that.
That's actually a great point. And maybe there is a crossover there and some of the officials are actually the same officials. But at the same time, yeah, Deuce, I don't know. It's not a joke because there are some serious games on the line. There's some serious money on the line for some of these people when they can get certain bonuses with certain things that they can accomplish as an individual athlete or even as a team. But on top of that, there's like that respect and pride, and that you spend this entire season trying to win at the highest level, and it's not in your control. That's when things get frustrating. That's why players are getting frustrated.
I think the other thing too is like the obvious calls, right? There's sometimes you go, oh, I see it on the replay, but it was clear LeBron got fouled in that last play. His reaction was completely over the top, but I also thought the reaction from the refs on Twitter was over the top when they went and apologized after, talking about sleepless nights because of this call.
Weird.
It's funny how, because it happened to LeBron and it happened to the Lakers on a nationally televised game, that it gets more spotlight than really things that have been happening all year long in the NBA. And the league has to clean it up in some ways. I just don't know what the answer is. Like, people, they have to get better. It's like, the officials have to get better, but I don't know what you're supposed to do with officials who make bad calls. It's like, okay, you say don't use those guys. Okay, who do you use then? Because you need officials. There's a ref shortage. What do you do?
Yeah, what I don't know what you do, but at the same time too, you look at how officiating has evolved, not only with ref shortages and everything. You look at all the different camera angles we have. You look at a last 2-minute report. You look at even the camera in the NBA that has the one shot on officials to explain the challenge and like unsuccessful challenge. This is going to be so-and-so's ball, whatever. Like, you're giving the spotlight to more and more of these individuals. More people know officials' names more than ever in this league. Like, I can point out like Evan Scott. I know that every single Kings player hates Evan Scott whenever he is officiating. What? No, and it's just like he's a younger official in the league, and you can tell he allows his emotions to get to him at times with the Sacramento Kings. And I'm not acting like it's easy, but when you are paid at this level to be a certain type of official, you got to figure it out.
I think if you have replay in sports, which is to me not going away, right? Replay reviews are a thing. Coaches can now challenge in the NFL and in the NBA. That play is a great example of it, okay? So there's no foul called, right?
Yeah.
That's a missed call at the end of that Lakers-Celtics game. There's people in New Jersey at the league offices watching that game on headset ready if there is a review process. I'm sorry. I think it's quite simple. If they see that and go, oh, that's a missed call, that's a blatant missed call at the end of the game. Hey, refs in Boston, you guys missed that one. Oh, we did? Okay. Because then you avoid what just happened. If the technology exists, and I get you can't do it with every call. There's quick judgment calls that are going to be missed. But when there's a blatantly obvious one like that, it's an end of the game. Maybe it's a situation where, hey, under 2 minutes ago, the people in the replay in New York, New Jersey can help out and assist.
Yeah.
If it's all about getting the calls right, then do it this way. I think it would make fans, it would make players and coaches feel much better if there was a replay assist coming from the league office.
You're playing with that line of, oh, but we love the human element, right? Like, there's going to be human error. We love that. But then at the same time, you're also saying you want to get that call right no matter what. Well, if you want to do that, utilize your resources, what you have right in front of your face.
You can always hit us up, of course, the YouTube feed, youtube.com/SactownSports1140. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. We're closing in on 200 thumbs up. Would love to get there soon. You can also hit us up at 1-800-920-1140. What is up, Casey?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We're good, man. What's up?
Oh, man. I was calling in about the 49ers game, and
Sure.
I had like 3 or 4 comments I wanted to make that just shows, why the Niners lost that game.
Okay, hold on. We got to do imaging for it.
Getting...
Hold on. So Casey's 3. Casey's 3 big takeaways.
Boom, boom, boom. Number 1.
One. Go ahead.
All right, number 1. Kyle Shanahan has a history of being way too conservative, whether it's on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. First of all, that play on the first drive of the game when the Eagles scored the touchdown that we didn't challenge, the Niners would have punted it right there. It was 4th and 3 from the 38 or 35. the Niners would have punted that ball. They would not have gone for it.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, you see other
obviously-
teams. You saw Zach Taylor yesterday, 4th and 6. They got Burrows throwing it deep downfield on some of these
And
plays.
it worked.
Yeah.
Yep. So many times Shanahan's done that. And when Devonta Smith caught that ball, there was at least 30 seconds from the time, because they had to run all the way downfield. There was at least 30 seconds, enough time for someone to say, hey, maybe let's call a timeout and then take a look at this and decide if we want to challenge it. And, we ended up going to halftime with our 3 timeouts. We didn't end up using any of them. And, we could have called timeout and said, let's just take a look at it and make sure this is a big play, first drive of the game, to make sure if he caught that or not.
No, for sure. And I
So
think
that's
that, I think the other thing on that, my one pushback, this is where NFL has replay assist. The guys in New York should be going back. Hey, it wasn't a catch. I hate that the officials, Bill Belichick's mentioned this before. It's like, why is it my job to do the official's job? Like, the officials in New York should be doing this job and being, hey, that was actually incomplete. But you're right. They could have called the timeout and looked at it. What's number 2?
Number 2 is the fact that we came into this game with former Sacramento Mountain Lion quarterback Josh Johnson as our backup.
Yeah.
A guy who's been through 14 NFL teams over 15 years. He's got 9 starts in the NFL. He's obviously has no skill to be a backup quarterback. He showed that. He couldn't even catch a snap or fall on a fumble.
Casey, you're coming hard at him. Here's my pushback on this, man. If he's been in the league, been around football for 15 seasons, there's something teams like about having him in the locker room. He's a smart player. He was put in a really tough situation against a really talented Eagles front. That was a really challenging set of circumstances he was dealing with. And here's my question for all those like, oh, it shouldn't have been him. Who should they have had? Would you have trusted anybody in that situation?
So here's what I say to people that say, who would we have had other than Josh Johnson?
Yep.
Well, Josh Johnson's been on our team multiple times, so we know what he is. We know that he's not good enough to carry a team to a win. He's got 1 career win over 15 years. He's 1-8 as a starter. You could have – so Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft, okay? I would have rather had the Niners go out and say, let's pick up 2 undrafted rookies that have never been given a chance and let them get a chance because, hey, they could be the next Brock Purdy. And then you bring in guys, you let them practice, and then you bring in a guy that nobody knows anything about. So at least guys that can throw the ball. We know Josh Johnson can't throw the ball.
All right, Casey, we're up against it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Casey. That the last point he's making is hilarious. So just get some undrafted guy that no one else notices, and maybe you surprise some people. Yeah, you should have pulled a 49ers fan out of the stand and put them in at quarterback because that would have made sense because you would have surprised the Eagles. It didn't matter who was in the game. It didn't matter at that point. Hell, Purdy may have had a rough game yesterday. Did anyone watch that Eagles front and what they were able to do to the Niners offensive line? We got so much to get to. We'll talk some more Championship Sunday, including what went down with the Niners. We'll talk some Kings as we get closer to Kings basketball. Our Niners insider, Amil Fragoso, joins us in studio coming up next on Sactown Sports. Morgan holding grudges. Do-da, do-da.
No,
You
because I was going to go.
You cannot tell me to be nice. And then you got to move on.
I went like this because I saw the time and I wasn't going to go off of what you were saying. And I was like,
I'll be back.
I don't want to get yelled at again. Can we get that double box, Chris? Chris, I think I'm going to put him where we have Frankie. Is that cool? Hi. So we're live during the break, just to let you know. No, you're fine. I'm thinking about putting you there, and then I'm gonna fix this camera. Putting you there, like so aggressive.
No, it's all right.
Dude, thank you so much for joining us. Of course. No, that's awesome.
Love to hang out with you guys.
Let's see. I've had some issues with trying to figure out how I want to do that. Give you a little light, but
a little lighting. I appreciate it.
No, dude, this is great. We want to make sure we're utilizing everyone
Of course.
in this stage. Oh, good. Here we go. Okay. Chris, is it this one? Okay.
I don't have headphones.
If you want them, it's up to you.
I don't know if I need them.
Okay. I'm like, you can just hear our loud voices. Okay. Oh, other way. There we go. I think I got it, Chris. Hold on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm actually better at this than I thought. I know. I see the other one. I see the other one. Why is that one? Why is it moving both? There we go. There we go.
What is up, YouTube chat? Alex wants to know what was his third point. Yeah, I had to cut him off. Morgan was giving me the break. I had no chance to. When Morgan does the break symbol, I got to go. Yeah, Blake, those Arco chairs are pretty sweet. I have some at home that I just haven't done anything with.
Good. Is it blurry still?
Morgan trying to get the cameras all lined up. Do I need to move over?
You're good. You're good.
I can move over.
There we go. Yeah. I know.
Force Ghost Fabio says Steve Young was actually warming up in the parking lot. Yeah, I think Brian Greasy at one point was actually getting it going. He put a helmet on, I saw on the sideline. Tillman said we had a chance at Baker Mayfield. I mean, okay. I mean, do we think Baker would have been great in that situation? I don't know. I just think we're doing a whole bunch of prisoner of the moment thing now where it's just like hindsight's 2020. Oh, they should have done this. Dude, you're putting in your fourth string quarterback. It's not ideal. It's not. And then he got hurt, right? Like, that's the other thing. Who's to say he wouldn't have settled down a little bit and maybe they could have gotten something going? That turnover late, 21-7, that was devastating. So you guys crack me up, man. Ian wants to know, why do you guys still have a Bagley jersey hanging up? Well, just don't say you guys as if I made this decision. We're going to be changing that out soon. I think we can find a new jersey.
Yeah, I agree.
How's it looking over there, Mo?
It's looking all right.
Do you need me to move over? To the left?
No.
Yeah.
I can move down.
Lean in so much.
Moving over to the left helps, right?
No.
Yeah.
Because then it gets in that camera shot.
Yeah, go more.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see my head. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
That's why I'm like,
Okay.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
I'm Christopher Lott with your Sactown Sports headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set, and it will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possession, and then it went from bad to worse. Backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with a concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight. They will look to rebound from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to the rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-off scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. It's 1 o'clock, and that means it's time for more of the Deuce and Mo Show.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Oh, yes. Final hour of the show. Deuce, Mason, Morgan, Reagan, our new show. It's still new, right? Because it's only week 2.
new.
Start of week
It's
2.
literally brand new.
Yeah, it's start of week 2.
I can barely even turn on my mic.
Yeah. I appreciate you joining us. Make sure if you're watching us on youtube.com/SactownSports1140 that you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channels. We're growing this and getting this page a little more love. It needs to be built up a little bit, and we're going to bring you live and local content all the time. Of course, you can download the free Sactown Sports app too. Of course, you listen on the radio. More no headphones in this?
Well, you know, our guest does not have headphones. So I was just trying to be.
So because the guest has no headphones, I'll take off mine?
You can do whatever.
Does he not like when we don't have headphones on?
No. I was just like, you know what?
I'm gonna keep them on.
Okay, do you?
I'm keep them
I
on.
like it.
Well, the Niners losing the NFC Championship game. It was heartbreaking. We're talking about Championship Sunday, and we'll be talking some more Kings and T-Wolves coming up as the Kings try to bounce back on this road trip against a tough Minnesota team. Amil Fragoso, who is the 49ers insider at SactownSports.com, joins us live in studio. What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good, man. Just a crazy finish this season. I know you've been covering this team all year long. You're going to the games. You've been at practices. It's just crazy to see that this is how this season ended.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate considering how remarkable of a story it was this year with having Brock Purdy, the third-string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant in this year's draft, be the quarterback of the Niners, take him all the way to the NFC Championship game. And for it to end this way, just like the Niners said yesterday, it wasn't our day. It was a missed opportunity, it felt like.
Yeah. No, that's the toughest part about it, I think, for so many Niners fans today is like, you're right there, right? And it's just, we were talking about that earlier too, even with Herm Edwards, like, it's hard to get there. And the fact that it's there, you have all the pieces ready to go to be a Super Bowl team, and you just can't get over that hump because of unfortunate things happening. I mean, we're not going to see this all the time, but do you feel like the Niners can at least continue off of where they are right now?
It's completely possible with this team, especially because they're sticking with Brock Purdy or the Trey Lance kind of scenario. We'll see what happens in the offseason, obviously, but they have all the pieces. They have all the weapons in place. A lot of the people are signed up. Nick Bosa still has another year in his contract, so that's important. But we'll see how this offseason plays out and what they want to do with the signal caller position. That's going to be the key to the Niners going back to the Super Bowl, going back to the NFC Championship game next year.
Yeah, I mean, D'Amico Ryan sounds like he's going to end up going to the Houston Texans, which is obviously a significant loss for the defense. That defense is connected with him in a big way. It's been really good, and in large part because of what he's been able to do. They have some key free agents with Gibson, Jimmy Ward, 5 defensive linemen. It's going to be interesting to kind of see where they go from here because you mentioned some of the key pieces in place, but this defense was special this year. It's a really good defense, and you come up short because of the circumstances you were dealt. It's going to be another challenge to see kind of how they retool here.
Yeah, it's going to be a real challenge, especially considering Jimmy Ward, their nickelback / safety is going to be up at free agency. I know Fred Warner talked to him yesterday. There was a clip going around. Well, best wishes, whatever happens, man. We still love you.
Not sure. Like he was leaving.
He was
sounding goodbye yesterday. Honestly,
that was the hardest thing about yesterday for them is that you never get the same unit in the NFL. Every single year, it's a different group of guys, different group of people, and that's the hardest thing. Is that this team, they felt like, in their opinion, had the best chance over the years, including the Super Bowl run against the Chiefs years ago. They feel like this unit was the best one to win the Super Bowl this year. That's why it's so heartbreaking.
Wow. No, and I think so many people feel that same way. But now you look at going forward and you go, okay, what do the 49ers need to do at that quarterback position? Everything that's going on with Trey Lance, I mean, still obviously being on the team. Then you don't know what's going to happen with Brock Purdy and this elbow injury. But then you hear the rumblings of, hey, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Like, can they make a huge change?
Tom Brady was pretty much begging in the last time they played, I want to come back here. Like, he wants to be back in San Francisco, but I think a lot hinges on just Brock Purdy's health to see what direction they go there.
That's number one priority is Brock Purdy's health. It's a UCL injury, commonly referred to as a Tommy John injury for baseball players and pitchers especially. If it's torn, that's a year off, and that's a hard recovery. Who knows if he'll be the same quarterback after that? That's the real concern. If it's a sprain, great. 6 weeks, he'll be back by OTAs, no worry at all. Now, on the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady front, all that stuff, Tom Brady's kind of closed the door on that before the Bucs game a while back. He basically said, I grew up a Niners fan. I love the Niners. I'm not anymore, but I grew up a Niners fan. That was great.
He also said he was retiring, and then he didn't retire, and then he goes through a divorce.
Fair.
You trust anything this guy says?
He also said him and Giselle were fine and that they were going to stay married. And
he's a liar.
I agree.
Look, what's going to happen to the quarterback position? We really don't know for the 49ers. I will say that the Niners are up against the cap this year. Even with the increase going up to $224.8 million next year for the salary cap, they have a projected $13.7 million to work with. And that's not counting paying Jimmy Moore. That's not counting paying Mike McGlinchey. There's a lot of key pieces they have to address internally before they even think about going out and getting a big name quarterback.
And I think that's what the challenge is. I feel like they need to upgrade the offensive line too. And you don't have a ton of money to spend. Yeah. You gave up a lot of draft capital when you got Trey Lance. So that's why it's just so disappointing that the season ended the way it did. It seemed like, oh, this could be like the Cinderella story where your third string quarterback comes in, last pick of the draft, Mr. Relevant. He's able to lead you maybe to the promised land. He gets hurt on the first drive of the game. And I think we're going to be remembering that play for a long time because the image you have is them trying to block one of the premier pass rushers in the game with a backup tight end. I know those things happen. Herm Edwards, like, yeah, you don't know how they're going to line up. What do you think about that play specifically?
It's hard to put your backup tight end going against Hassan Reddick, who is having arguably his best season in the NFL, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, playing outside linebacker for the Eagles, coming over from Arizona actually to play outside linebacker for the Eagles, which is kind of a wild situation. But yeah, no, Kyle didn't back down. He stood up and said, no, this is part of the offense. This is part of what we do. We have guys do that. Same thing happened with Kittle on a different play formation. Bring him over, try to get Reddick. Didn't happen. Didn't work. It's hard. It's part of their play action. They want to have long setup play action plays, but you have to understand that, hey, this guy's on that. I wouldn't say on the Nick Bosa level, but he's on he's on the echelon of those. You got to really game plan for this guy. You got a singular game plan. So that's the challenge of that.
So do you think Kyle Shanahan as a head coach overlooked far too many things, made too many mistakes in a game this big? I mean, we even had a caller early on that was talking about how like he makes life dangerous for quarterbacks on the field. And that's why we're seeing this injury history with these quarterbacks. I mean, what's your opinion on just this game and Kyle Shanahan as a coach?
It kind of, you could feel it going askew as soon as Devontae Smith caught that ball and they didn't challenge it. That was the biggest thing.
I mean, even before the Fred Warner I know he came back in the game. That's when I was like, oh God, like, is this the type of game you're seeing? But you're right. That play really messed some things up.
Yeah. And Kyle even said afterwards, he's talking about it. He goes, we had time to challenge. I just didn't want to waste a challenge because we didn't get all the camera angles everyone else did.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, just take a timeout and then you go to halftime. You didn't use one timeout. And so those are little things. Then I rewind and go, okay, even if they don't score there, and they have to punt, you lose Brock Purdy. Yeah. And I even think with Brock Purdy, this was going to be a challenge. I picked the Eagles before the game, and I thought it was going to be a really good game. I thought it was going to be a classic game, but I thought the crowd was going to be a factor. And we keep talking about one guy that can rush the passer. Dude, they had 70 plus sacks this year, right? The most of any team since the 85 Bears. They get after the quarterback, and there's nothing that says that they couldn't have won that game even if Purdy was healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge. The Eagles' defensive line is a big challenge, and the Niners learned really quick that the Eagles love playing bully ball. They love being more physical than you and being more aggressive, more violent than you. Even as aggressive as the Niners are on defense, the Eagles rival that and then some. That's why they're going to the Super Bowl game, and the offensive line, Mike McGlinchey especially, got worked.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those picks that I remember how hyped it was when they picked him, and just been disappointing. He lost weight, did all this. He's had some games where, maybe he's turning the corner. I can't imagine him.
Who would have been better with that pick? Derwin James.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I mean, when you big picture stuff with the Niners, and this is always what we do as we dissect the end of a season, right? It's like we start, okay, what about this? What about this?
Thing.
And you also have the perspective of, this season's pretty magical when you consider that if any other team goes to their third string quarterback, you're winning 4 games this year.
Right. Yeah.
They were still able to go to the NFC Championship game, but I think in the Lynch Shanahan era, you've had misses on picks in the first round. And those hurt you. I mean, Solomon Thomas is one that comes to mind with a big time miss there. Javon Kinlaw. And then, who knows what Trey Lance is going to be, but you gave up a lot for a guy to be your quarterback. And here we are entering year 3. And we don't really know. And part of it is because of the injuries, but we just don't know what to expect.
Yeah. Brock Purdy has played more games than Trey Lance. Think about that.
That's insane.
Just like they drew it up.
Well, but how crazy is it though, too? I mean, you could look around the league though. This is you guys, it's all about perspective too. Because you can look around the league and go, oh, so everyone missed on Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Yeah,
all these other teams missed on him as well. Yeah. And then you have the Niners having been forced to give him an opportunity and he crushes it, right?
Yeah.
So it really is perspective. I don't know why I find myself like sticking up for Kyle Shanahan.
I mean, you should. I mean, they had a great
today.
year.
No, I know, but I think a lot of people too, like we go to the blame game, right?
Yeah,
And obviously you're going to blame the leader first. And then after the leader it goes the quarterback. And then after the quarterback, it just goes down to penalties and wherever else you want to go with things. And you look at some of the penalties, even in this game, if we want to dissect more of what went wrong in this specific game, you look at those penalties and they're really tough to look back at and think, okay, how can the Niners change this stuff going forward?
Yeah, it's just unlucky. It was a really unlucky game for them. Looking at the stats, the Eagles had 7 first downs for penalties. 7. The Niners, 0.
And that's brutal.
That's brutal.
I mean, and when you look at even Jalen Hurts' numbers, he didn't kill you, but he didn't make a mistake. And that's the difference, right? And I don't know. I also feel like we spend so much time analyzing all these things that happen. Oh, some of the missed calls, the replay review. The second Purdy goes down, the game's pretty much over. And at halftime, it's 21-7. You had no chance. And then Josh Johnson goes out. You got to put Purdy back in the game? We've never seen a game where you go, hey, you have a quarterback. He can't throw.
Yeah.
And just at a base level, you're going, hey, can McCaffrey go? Use check. Jawan Jennings was a 4-star prospect at quarterback. Your options were terrible, and that's all you had. You weren't winning this game against this talented team in Philly with these circumstances. So people can point fingers at Shanahan, this pick, or he should have done this. Dude, can you keep your guy on the floor, on the field? And they couldn't do it, unfortunately.
Niners had a history of not being able to keep their guys on the field. You look at how the season started.
Yeah.
They were without so many players. Dre Greenlaw gets hurt. Jimmy Ward's out for the start of the year. I mean, there's so many ways this Niners team has overcome adversity. They were the healthiest of any team going into the postseason this year.
Wow.
Well, healthiest. All they were losing with Jimmy Garoppolo. That was it.
It's tough. It's tough. So a lot of big questions headed into the offseason. Oh, what can we expect from you at Sactown Sports? For people who don't know, you cover the 49ers at SactownSports.com.
I do. I cover the 49ers here at Sactown Sports my first year, now going into my second. That's crazy to say.
Hell yeah.
Crazy
That's
to
awesome.
say. It's been a wild ride this year. A lot of fun covering the Niners. You can find me at my Twitter at Emiliano Fragoso, as well as at Sactown Sports 1140. And if you're not following us, give us a like, give us a comment, everything like that. Come on now, guys. We're company here.
Yeah. And of course, he's got it all covered. I mean, he was at practices this year. He's at games, so make sure to check out his work. Dude, we appreciate you joining us, man.
Of course, guys. Pleasure to be here.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk some more Kings basketball, Kings and T-Pups tonight. This is a big game. We'll discuss that, talk to you guys as well. Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. Yeah, dude, thank you so much.
You're doing so much, and we appreciate you even hopping in here. And
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh, yeah.
I love to be on the air. So.
Yeah, dude, we'll definitely be bugging you, man.
I miss my air days, honestly. I did a lot at Arizona State when I was there.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent, but then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try.
Hi, YouTube chats. We're always live on YouTube during the break.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo.
Sactown Sports.
I need the beam tonight, Morgan. I need a little beam in
I
my
think we all
life.
need it. We all need a little beam in our life.
You know, Monty hasn't seen the beam since he got his extension.
Ooh.
Do you think he's a little nervous? You sign a new deal, you're extending, and the Kings haven't won a game since.
No, I don't think he's nervous. But you know what's funny? You always see this with people, and it's like they just got paid, and then this happens. This just happened, and then it goes to their head, and they think everything's easy. Monty McNair isn't playing on the floor, but the trade deadline's coming up. So what's going to happen?
Dude, trade deadline next week, and the rumors are all over the place. But we really haven't seen many Kings rumors of any substance at this point.
No,
which doesn't surprise me because like this front office doesn't seem to leak a lot of stuff. If we get to the trade deadline, and the Kings don't make any moves, like nothing, would you be disappointed? Like, this is the team here on out, and maybe you can get something on the buyout market. You have an open roster spot.
So because Monty McNair has done a pretty damn good job of constructing this roster and making some aggressive moves, I'm going to say no, because I'd be like, okay, I have faith in what he has planned for the offseason. I would feel that way, but then if everything goes to crap, that's when I would start feeling something. But I think there's a lot of people out there that are right now hearing me say this and going, no, he has to make a move. They have to make the playoffs, or it's a failure of a season. We didn't have, or I didn't have these expectations going into this season. I think a lot of people were excited, but I think they've exceeded expectations as well.
I think you just have to be smart about it. I said this last offseason or last trade deadline. You don't just make a move to make a move. You know, it's like, oh, hey, the fans want us to make a trade. We got to make a trade. Well, no, I'm not making a bad trade.
Yeah.
I'm being deliberate about this and understanding that if I make a trade that can give us a boost this year, is it going to help us next year? Is it going to hurt us down the road? You have to be smart about this. I would be disappointed if they didn't make some sort of tweak, but you hear what some teams are asking right now for players. Talking about Caruso for 2 first-round picks is a rumor. The Hornets apparently are going, yeah, you guys want Plumlee? First-round pick. Wait, you're supposed to give up a first-round pick for Plumlee, who's a free agent? Like, I think he could help the Kings, but, I mean, at what cost do you make a move? And this is the challenge when you're in a climate in the NBA's Western Conference where there's so many teams in the mix. You don't have a lot of sellers, right? Like a team like Minnesota, you'd be like, oh, maybe they'll tank this year. It's not really going well. Cat's hurt. No, they're not going to, because they don't have any draft picks, and they have guys they spend a lot of money on. They're trying to win now. Portland, why would they tank? They've got Dame. They've got Jeremy Grant. They're trying to add. The Kings, they're definitely not tanking. They're trying to get in.
Yeah.
The Lakers, they have zero motivation to tank, even if it doesn't look like it's going in the right direction, because Pelicans have their pick.
Yep.
So you start bringing up all those teams, even if they're on the outside looking in, they're going for it. The Golden State Warriors, they're not going to tank.
No.
They got Steph Curry and Clay. So all of the teams I just mentioned are all teams that are trying to make moves and fight to get in the playoffs. It's going to be hard to make a move. And I don't know. I'm going to be interested. I know Sam Amick last week joined us and was like, hey, I think the Kings, or I think that it's going to be a busy NBA trade deadline in general the week of. I guess we'll see.
He used the term fireworks.
But what kind? Is it like like the cheap fireworks that you get in California that are kind of weak? It's like, oh, it's a sparkler or a Piccolo Pete.
Aren't those still good?
No.
Sparklers
are
are
those
like
fireworks. So you go to Nevada, those are some fireworks.
like Disneyland firework status. Okay.
I mean, I guess you still see them in California. It's crazy how like all these illegal fireworks, you see fireworks shows all over the place, right? Is that a legal one? Oh, that is not. Okay.
No. And then
why are fireworks going off on July 17th?
In my neighborhood, it's not fireworks. It's just bombs. It's bombs. At
God.
the
God. Well, so we want legitimate fireworks and moves being made at the NBA trade deadline. I'll be clear about that. And what that means specifically, sure, I have fun watching any team make a big trade. I think when you see that movement go down, just as a basketball fan, as an NBA fan, it's fun. It's super fun. I love drama. I do. But when it comes to the Sacramento Kings, I need it to be the right drama. And the right drama, I think too many people are in this boat of like, do you change things up? Do you mess up the glue of the team? All these different, I mean, you got scared money, don't make no money. Like I don't move. You got to be aggressive with your moves. Like you got to be doing something.
Morgan trying to sound so hip because she knows one like somewhat relevant song from the last year.
I didn't even say it with I didn't say it with any swag. Yeah. I didn't say it like I was trying to be cool. Yeah. It's just there's so much truth to that line.
Scared money, don't get money. You're right.
No, don't make no money.
You jabroni! Ninja Style 916 in our YouTube chat. Appreciate everyone being in the YouTube chat. We are just 8 thumbs up away from 200. So let's get that to 200 thumbs up as we're talking about the Kings with the trade deadline coming up. Kings and T-Wolves tonight. Ninja Style says, I feel like we'll trade Rashawn Holmes and Terrence Davis before the deadline. Maybe Alex Len too. Yeah, the Rashawn Holmes stuff is interesting because you had Stein put out that report last week. Like they might buy him out. That made no sense whatsoever.
At all.
I just, you look at what his contract is next year at $12 million. The year after that, he's got a player option for 12. I'm not sure many teams are lining up for that deal, especially based on how he has been playing over the last year.
Yeah, which is like, I think it's misleading in a lot of ways, obviously, because Mike Brown isn't allowing him to showcase what he can do. Maybe this motion offense isn't right for Rashawn Holmes. And it really look how good Tyrese Halliburton made Rashawn Holmes, right? Especially in that pick and roll. And then look, did he help Miles Turner get paid as well in Indiana? Is he the guy that is like the magical weapon for centers around the league? I don't know, but he's had some good track records now with two different bigs in this league. For Rashawn Holmes, though, I look at his situation. Will someone be interested in him? Yes, but his contract is where I just go, who?
Yeah, and what back, right?
Right,
It's like,
right.
you trade him. Okay, you got rid of him. What did you take back?
Yeah.
And that's where it's you don't just make a move to make a move. That's it's the same thing when people are like, you gotta trade this guy, you gotta trade Buddy. It's like, no, you trade Buddy in the right move.
Mhm.
And so that's the challenge. As far as someone like Terrence Davis, Alex Lynn, I could see that just in expiring deals. The Kings also just don't have a lot to trade, and do you make a significant trade, in my opinion, that would get you something back that maybe could help you? You would have to sacrifice losing someone like Harrison Barnes, who's on an expiring deal, but he makes $18 million. The guys that you're not trading, right? Like, to me, that
Keegan,
I'm not saying untouchable, but being realistic, Fox, Sabonis, Keegan, and Herter not getting traded. I would say everyone else is kind of out there. I mean, depending on the deal. Someone like Malik Monk, I know they like him, but you can't tell me Malik Monk is untouchable.
I
at the
see.
trade
If
deadline.
it's the right deal, if it's the right piece.
I don't also think they're actively shopping him either because of what he provides in the locker room, what his potential is, especially as a shooter. He hasn't shot the ball well this year, 31% from three, but he gives you a lot.
I'm sure that same thing goes for Davion Mitchell, right? I think a lot of people look at Davion as someone that could possibly be moved, but then a team is taking on an incredible defender, but is not getting that two-way guy, right? The guy that can also be super productive on the offensive end. Now, coming off the bench as a backup point guard, I think Davion can be solid on so many different teams, and I think he does deserve that extra playing time. And I think what he does add to the Sacramento Kings by setting the tone defensively is so valuable. It's so needed. But like we keep saying, if you are not willing to give up good, you're not going to get good. And the Kings are trying to find those tweaks to make their team a little better. I don't know exactly what that is and how that is. That's why I'm not an NBA GM.
I could be one.
No.
But we could talk about more of that stuff coming up. Would you be disappointed if the Kings didn't make a move at the deadline? Plus, we'll get you ready for Kings and T-Wolves. Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
I thought you were.
No, I didn't say anything.
You. No, I told you. I told you to just say what.
Test. What?
Does your?
Oh, it's because he's holding the mic. Oh, my bad. What's up, Kaylin? Test 1 2. Is your mic working?
My mic.
I see. I'm so confused. I can't hear myself. What's up, Kaylin? Tyler says, I'm looking for a team trying to drop off a vet to a cut cap room and take advantage of that. Other than that, I don't think we need to do anything crazy. Yeah, I wonder if the Kings, I think there's a chance that they could try to do something in the buyout market,
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would be there in the buyout market that would the whole thing with Jay Crowder, that whole thing, that kind of stinks. That I know we'll talk about that more soon, but obviously Shalm's coming out with the piece about Jay Crowder and other teams giving him the right to talk to other teams. It's tough because there's championship caliber teams that are going to have like a step up on these guys, right? At the buyout market.
Yeah, but those teams have to create roster spots too. I don't know every team's roster situation. All I know is the Kings have a roster spot that just got filled again in a 10-day deal. Deontay Burton signed a 10-day deal. PJ Dozier had 2 10-day deals. Then after 2 10 days, you have to guarantee their deal for the rest of the year. The Kings do not want to do that at this point. So they signed someone from the Stockton Kings, Deontay Burton, to fill that void. But the 10 days leads up right before the trade deadline. It allows them to maybe take on an additional player at the deadline if they make a move, but it also gives them flexibility to maybe address the buyout market. So if they've got a spot, and I think they're an intriguing team, you're right. Like, are there other teams? It just depends on the player. But if you're a free agent, you just got bought out and you have a chance to go play in an offense that they share the ball, they're winning games.
Yeah.
I think the Kings are gonna have a shot to do something.
I
like
like that. I like that perspective. I think it's positive, but I think it's realistic too. I do. I think people want to be a part of the beam.
On YouTube, on Twitter, I put out like, would you be disappointed if the Kings didn't make a move? First few people are like saying no. Everett said he'd be surprised, just not disappointed. There's steep asking prices. Alex says, nah, it would be nice to get a bruiser big though. And then Andy says, nope.
Would not be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or not be disappointed.
Oh, would not be disappointed. Okay. What?
Nothing. I'm just reading stuff. Big John says, everybody's been talking about Jay Crowder all season. Do we really need an undersized power forward to complement the 2 small forwards we run as starters? Yeah, I don't even know. Like, I think Jay Crowder could help the Kings for sure. I also we haven't seen Jay Crowder play in a long time.
It's been almost a full season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever we're like, oh, but this is what he adds to a team. Okay, shove him on a brand new roster. And even if he's been playing behind the scenes, staying ready, staying conditioned, it's not NBA minutes.
Yeah. But his toughness is exactly what the Kings need. And I know it's not like a perfect fit. He doesn't, check all the boxes. I think so many times when we talk about what the Kings need, it's always, yeah, but this big doesn't do this, or this player doesn't do that. I'm like, okay, but what are a couple of things that player does do right now that could help this team? You're not going to get the perfect player at the trade deadline unless you're willing to part with some crazy things. And even then, that's beyond risky. So it's a challenge.
It is.
It's a challenge. How do you get to the next step?
Fun times, but.
Oh, we are 2 away from 200 thumbs up, by the way.
Oh.
2 away. Can we get the 200 thumbs up to help this channel grow?
What we got? He's got that dog mentality.
Headlines.
This is Chris Verlot with your Sactown Sports headlines. Super Bowl 57 matchup is set. It will be the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs in Arizona on February 12th. Niners' magical season came to an end when they lost to the Eagles 31-7. Rookie quarterback Brock Purdy injured his elbow in the Niners' first possession, and then it went from bad to worse. And backup quarterback Josh Johnson left the game with a concussion in the third quarter. Adam Schefter reported yesterday that the Niners believe Purdy suffered a UCL injury, and Purdy is scheduled for an MRI today to find out how significant the injury is. Sacramento Kings are back in action tonight, and they will look to bounce back from their 117-110 loss to the Timberwolves on Saturday. You can listen to their rematch tonight against the Wolves with game night starting at 3:30 and tip-off scheduled for 5 right here on Sactown Sports. It's 1:30, and that means it's time for more of the Deuce and Mo Show.
It's Deuce and Mo.
Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports.
Oh, yes. Final half hour. Deuce, Mason, Morgan, Reagan coming up next on Sactown Sports. Cals and Rami. They got a lot to go over with Championship Sunday and the Kings. Also, the Kings are in action taking on the T-Wolves tonight. We'll talk more about that game. Before the last break, we were just talking about, hey, would you be disappointed if the Kings did not make a move at the deadline? A couple people were being rational right now.
Oh.
I thought most people were like, no, they have to make a move. They have to go to the next level. People are like, oh, no, it could be a steep asking price. It could be challenging to make a move. I get that. So
I appreciate that outlook from people.
I do too, big time. But I gotta be honest. There's something that I just saw on social media that was outrageous.
Okay.
Shocking that something on social media would be outrageous. We've all been kind of joking about LeBron's reaction,
Okay.
right? Remember,
Yeah.
LeBron gets fouled on Saturday night, threw a temper tantrum.
Correct.
Outrageous, over the top, ridiculous, like unbelievable in some ways.
Yeah. Agreed.
I will say this, Chandler Parsons had the most outrageous take on this.
I
You remember Chandler Parsons?
can't wait. Yes.
This is going to hit home. Chandler Parsons talks about LeBron's reaction. He says, I can watch my French bulldog get ran over by the mailman right now, and I would not react like that.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
Like hilarious and like, are you kidding me way?
No, he's saying that his French bulldog could be run over by the mailman and he would not react like that.
Yeah, it wasn't you would not react that way. That he had to exaggerate that much to make his point.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean,
could you imagine if your dog got ran over?
Well, here's the difference. I wouldn't react like LeBron James. I would run over to my dog and or go punch the mailman that ran over my dog.
Okay, Chris, since Morgan took this way too literal, apparently, let me ask you, that quote by Chandler Parsons, that's outrageous.
Yes.
Thank you. You don't think you thought it was hilarious? I can watch my French bulldog get run over by a mailman right now, and I would not react like
I mean,
this.
he's obviously kidding. Like,
It's a weird thing to kid about, though.
Like, I can you talking about your dog getting like crushed by a mailman?
Yeah.
That's the joke you make?
Well, I'll tell you guys one thing. I have a friend that has a French bulldog that has been run over by a UPS truck and was totally fine after. So
Did it get run over or was it driven over?
I don't, which one's the,
Like run over is like hitting the tires or like bouncing on it.
maybe, I don't know.
Driving over is like
either
it's
way,
underneath.
It came away with a few scratches.
Yeah.
And so like, maybe that's his point.
No, that I'm gonna go ahead and say he has no idea about your friend's French bulldog situation.
No, I'm
so
saying like
that
the
was not
French
his
bulldog
point.
could like take anything. That's what I'm saying.
I'm not afraid of your UPS drivers. It's been a while since you heard that, dude, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Kings and T-Wolves tonight, Morgan Reagan.
Yes.
How the Kings win, how they get it done, how they bounce back after what happened on Saturday. I feel like they need this one.
Set the tone from the start of the game. Doesn't matter if you're De'Aaron Fox and you're trying to be Mr. Clutch in the first quarter or the fourth. Just start it in the first, right? Like start in the first, be consistent with it. Sabonis, you got to just remain aggressive, going at Gobert into his chest to the basket. Like, don't be afraid of looking for your shot. This is so much easier said than done, though, too, Deuce. I think when we don't give Rudy Gobert enough credit, it's not about how many shots he's blocking. It's about how many shots he's disrupting, right? And what his presence does to an entire offense at time. And I get that. But now you just saw this team. You stayed in their city, and now you're about to play them. Respond, get business done.
But to me, you mentioned Rudy Gobert's presence. I'm not trying to deny his impact over the years. He's won multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards. He's clearly having a down year.
Yes.
He's been better recently.
Yeah.
But the Kings would not attack him much at all in that game. And you have to. You can't be as scared of him. You can't be pump faking. The one time that they were aggressive with him, I loved it. Sabonis lowered that shoulder, created space, and scored the ball. That's the mindset you have to go with. And I'm not saying just attack him, like be ridiculous with it. I mean, the guy is obviously a good shot blocker, not as good this year. In fact, it's his career low, I think.
Yeah.
With blocking shots, but you have to have the aggressive mindset from the start. And then like Edwards and Russell can't combine for 12 of 16 from three. You know, Edwards, you throw something else at him. All right. Like he is a really talented player, probably making a legit case to be in the All-Star game this year with how he is playing, putting up monster numbers, 34 points a game over his last 5 games. But get the ball in his hands. Like, be physical with them. Throw a double team at him. You can't just let one guy kill you doing the same thing.
Yeah, I And I think by doing that, just like you're saying, it's like really staying engaged and focused on how to disrupt his game, right? Defensively and offensively, and crashing the boards. And I think that's going to be huge. But also, like, if you're going to let someone beat you, let it be Anthony Edwards. No disrespect to D'Angelo Russell. He finds ways to have some big moments, and especially against the Sacramento Kings. Last game, knocking down 6 threes at the end of the game. Whatever it was just too many threes. He only scored 2 points in that second half, which is great. The Kings made their adjustments, but don't let everyone beat you. Anthony Edwards is going to get his for the most part. Try and slow his game down. Don't let Naz Reid come off the bench and beat you there either.
Yeah, Naz Reid had a big time impact on the game, and I just think it was not being disciplined enough defensively. I think offensively, it's like people, the offense, man, it's really kind of struggling. I think they struggled a lot against the Raptors, and I think that was in large part because they could not attack the Raptors the right way. I feel like against Minnesota, they missed shots.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference, and you can get good shots, miss shots. They say all the time, hey, make or miss league. They missed some shots that they normally make. I didn't have a problem a lot of time with some of the shots, but I do want them to be in the attacking mindset. I was happy they got to the free throw line in that game against Minnesota. That was the one part the aggressiveness I saw that was encouraging. But it's the details that matter. It's knowing that, yeah, Naz Reid can hit a 3, but he's also shooting like 31% from 3.
Yeah.
You don't need to close out on him like it's Dame Lillard about to hit a game winner. Like, you have to be more disciplined as a group. The communication has to be there.
Dude, and get this team back on their heels in transition defense. They allow a lot of fast break points, right? So make sure that you are playing well on the defensive end to get those deflections, to get things going, to help create your offense. So then you're not stuck in a half court offense, allowing Rudy Gobert to change up your shot or change up your offense either.
All right, let's check in real fast with Brock. What's up, Brock?
Hey, guys. I want to talk football, but I want to remind you of something.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. I want to remind you of something regarding Holmes' contract. Has a $7 million trade kicker. I don't know who pays it. I don't know which side pays it. But if he's traded, he gets an additional $7 million on top of his salary.
Is it that much?
Yes. So that makes him practically untradeable, if we had to pay it or if the other team had to pay it or if they negotiate it. So that's just something to remember. Football-wise, I'm convinced that Kyle Shanahan is the new Art Howe. Art Howe took the A's to 102 wins and got fired because he was seen as a guy who could build a team but not take them far enough. I think that's where Shanahan is. I think in 5 years he'll be a great offensive coordinator in the league.
Brock.
Yeah.
He just took a third-string quarterback and got him to the NFC Championship game and had a chance if he didn't get hurt.
He did, but let me put it this way. And let me ask you guys to each be either the general manager or the owner of the 49ers. And you're in the room and you're saying, boy, we're going to have a tough off season. We're going to lose a major part of our coaching staff. And that's probably D'Amico Ryan to Houston. But what if one of those guys says, well, what if we could keep D'Amico and not have Kyle?
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Would you want D'Amico Ryan as a head coach, yes or no?
No, I want Kyle Shanahan as my head coach.
Well, the most important part of this team is the defense, and that's D'Amico Ryan.
Sure, but Robert Saleh was that guy too. Hey, we'll get to more of this coming up.
I
on
like
this.
it, Brock.
Brock, I appreciate you checking in. Some good questions. We're up against it. I had to go. See this radio. They go, hey, you're the break at this time. I'm sorry. I got a break.
Thanks, Brock.
Right. You jabroni! We'll talk more about what he had to say too. We got closing time. Kings T-Wolves. Deuce and Mo on Sactown Sports. YouTube chat. Oh, we got to 200 thumbs up.
Oh, wow. We're over 200.
210, baby.
Let's go.
We have not had a show where we haven't received over 200 thumbs up. All that does is help the channel grow, and it gets more eyeballs on it.
There
hasn't been a ton of eyeballs on this channel, right? Because there's still it's a little baby. It's
in a growing process.
Yeah. So we're trying to
help grow the baby.
I'm saying latch. latch on.
That's weird. Now that is weird. Chris, do not encourage and laugh.
No, I'm
do not encourage. and laugh.
I'm feeding the baby.
Like, also really weird.
You can feed the baby too by hitting the thumbs up. Let's grow this baby.
Formula works too.
Ow, ow, ow.
Deuce, that is weird.
Yeah, it's getting into a weird territory.
we literally had to give him the look like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Also, I don't know if that Rashawn Holmes trade kicker is accurate. I'm going to look at that.
Okay. I was curious about that. I was like, why haven't we talked about that more if that's the case?
Well, I know he has a trade kicker. I just don't
but
know
7 mil?
$7 million. That sounds really high. And then Omar in the chat says, the Kyle Shanahan disrespect is too much.
I'm with you.
Honestly, it really is. And it's one of those things that he's not going to get the love he deserves until he wins it all for whatever reason. And it's like, also, who have they lost to? And I know they had a lead in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Morgan. You know that guy?
Yeah, he's really
pretty good. He won
like
a game
iconic.
on one leg yesterday.
One
like,
damn leg. Yeah. No, it's I understand people being like, you got to win something. I feel like football sometimes is so much more cutthroat with their coaches and their leashes and everything. And sometimes I just think it's ridiculous. And they look at it because of obviously the amount of money that is being made in football instead of looking at it like as a sport still, and how you develop and grow as a sport, like is with patience and is also with the way that you can keep evolving from what you build on top of. Sure, there's going to be screw ups along the way, and Trey Lance could be one of those screw ups. But that doesn't all just fall on Kyle Shanahan, although he does have to take some accountability as well.
By the way, I'm looking at Rashawn Holmes' trade kicker. It's 15%. If that's based on what he makes this year, which is $11 million, the trade kicker would be $1.65 million. So it's definitely not $7 million. I knew there was a trade kicker, but 7 sounded extreme.
Okay.
Unless he's saying the total amount. If it's a trade kicker for the
remainder of the contract, then that would be more. Appreciate Brock in the numbers.
So times 0.15. That'd still be 5.4 million if it went
okay.
So it's
still
not,
under
it's not.
7.
So I just don't know if the trade kicker is assigned to all of that time.
And everybody has 4.5 million.
Yeah, well, around, it's 4.5.
So. No, nothing for Joey Bosa, who is rich, and he will let us know.
How about Len and Davion for Bowl? Does that
Len and Davion for Bowl?
I mean, the Davion stuff is going to be, it has to be addressed at some point. And it doesn't mean this year. I think he can play in the NBA, and I think he could be a starting point guard in the NBA. If he's in Sacramento, he's not a starting point guard. So, and at some point for him in his career, he probably feels the same, right? So,
It's Deuce and Mo on your local sports leader.
Sactown Sports.
Love the YouTube feed. Shout out to the people. We said we wanted 200 thumbs up today. We got to over 200 thumbs up at youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Baby, it's a fire. Come on, make thumbs go up. Make them go up, up, up.
They did go up, up, up. Somehow Chris made that. Turned it into something.
So dumb.
Yeah, over 200 thumbs up, which is great. We're trying to grow this channel. It's going to take some time, but just know that there's going to be a lot of content on this channel because you have shows that are live here on the station from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Game night streaming sometimes, which is before Kings games. You got Chris Watkins, who hosts Kings Weekly on Saturday, plus additional content that is posted video-wise all the time, youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140, and in addition on the Sactown Sports app that's free in the App Store. So
Hell yeah.
We're trying our best here.
Oh no, I'm loving it. It's I do enjoy being a part of something that, like, hey, the growth is coming. It's, really putting in the right resources and everything to make sure that this can be a winning place, and it's cool.
Brock, who just called in before the last break,
Yes.
was saying a lot of things, going at Kyle Shanahan a little bit, but he's also mentioning Rashawn Holmes, how it's impossible to trade him because of his trade kicker. He said it was $7 million. According to Fanspo, which they do great work covering contracts in the NBA, Rashawn Holmes has a 15% trade kicker.
Okay.
If it is attached to the 15% on the entire deal, that's additional over $5 million, not $7 million.
Okay.
If it's just to 1 year, that's like in the $1 million something range. Either way, it's not insignificant, but yes,
Sure.
it's a little more costly if you were to trade Rashawn Holmes. I wonder though, I do wonder if that is something that can be waived. Like if
Oh.
Rashawn was like, hey,
I
like,
wanna get traded?
There's a deal. Like, I don't care. You can waive the trade kicker. I want to go.
I wanna
this way.
play.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something interesting to think about too.
Okay. Yeah. That's that would be all interesting to see how that all plays out for Rashawn Holmes, even though that's just us having the conversation around like, oh, is he even going to be traded?
I'm going to go to this person on the phones because you can call us too, old school, 1-800-922-1140. The last time we talked to this person over the weekend, it sounded like his voice was dead. He is Coach Nick.
Okay.
Nick? Oh, I think I hit the wrong button. Hold on. Hey, Nick, are you there?
Hi, Deuce Mo. How you doing?
Oh,
Good,
you sound way better, man.
Yes, I do.
Did you go to the doctor?
No, but I'm doing okay.
All right, okay. What's going on, man? We got Kings T-Wolves tonight.
I just want to say the Kings are going to win. The Kings have to win tonight.
Yes, the Kings do have to win tonight. If you were the coach in the locker room, Nick, we know that you do this on our podcast. What would you be telling your team before tonight's game going up against the T-Wolves?
Play better defense. Get yourself some wins.
Yes.
And you gotta play better. You gotta get yourself a win.
You gotta play better.
You are just an amazing, amazing coach. Well, what player on the T-Wolves are you looking most forward to really looking bad tonight?
Any Minnesota Timberwolves player, but I think the Kings are only going to fire Laser.
Fire the laser tonight. All right, Nick. I appreciate you checking in.
And we'll do pre and post game is at 4:30.
Okay.
4:30 pre-game. Nick. And I just want to say, the Kings, they're going to win tonight. And Morgan's going to say, if the Kings win tonight, Morgan's going to say, fire the laser!
All right.
Good job,
yes,
Nick.
Yes, you will. He really wanted you to say it, but you don't say it. I mean, they didn't win the game. You're not
No.
going to say it if they don't win the game.
No, it's just like when people are chanting light the beam with 5 minutes left on the clock. Like, you just don't do that.
I could tell,
Like they're up by 10.
Yeah, they're up by 10 with 5 minutes to play. You can't chant light the beam.
Thank you.
You can't chant it.
10.
12.
No.
15.
25, dude.
20. It's got to be 25 with 10 minutes left.
No, I think
not at all.
With 5 minutes to go, you have to be up 30 to chant light the beam.
Oh, no.
So then if it's
Chris, I'm not that person, but like, let's be
He's
careful.
not.
The game's not over. It's not. You
The
know my
NBA.
rules in today's NBA. A 20-point lead is not the 20-point lead of 10 years ago. A 20-point lead, that's like
You got to
12
subtract
points.
five. Oh, it's 7 now.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you subtract 7
inflation
points
is
now.
killing
yeah,
it.
no, it's the game's changed. It's a different league now. It's 20-point leads are not. You look up 20. That's cute. Teams come back from 20 down all the time. It's funny though because Monty McNair's references Sabonis too. Some of the players get uncomfortable hearing the light the beam chants that early. They're going, no, we haven't won yet.
It's you guys, it's kind of like a jinx.
I don't.
Has it been jinxed yet?
It has not yet.
But it's been close.
By the way, it's going to happen.
It
and
is.
it's going to hurt.
I trust in the Kings fans, apparently, unlike you. I trust that they have the knowledge to know when and when not to start the chant the
because
beam.
the power of the beam, like just having it represents so much, and people are so
Agreed.
obsessed with it and crave it that they're like, I see it inside. I'm just gonna start chanting it now. They don't have the capability of going, oh, let's be patient with it. I hear it after every game. I'm like, don't start
They're
chanting.
addicted to the beam.
You know what would be pretty fantastic though, because we
What?
talk about like the MVP chants and stuff like that. If say they're playing the Lakers at home and the Kings just go on like a 20-2 run, and then there's a foul and they're at the line, and the chant started saying "light the beam," like how fantastic would that be?
Early in a game?
Yes, like first quarter.
No.
I don't like it, Chris.
No,
I
would
don't like
love
it
it.
one
It's
bit.
I would love
It's not
it.
even a jinx thing. It's just like you just don't. The game's literally not over. We were calling Stockton Kings game the other day where they were up 30 points with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. By the end of the quarter, it was down to 15. I'm like, okay. And then it got down to 12 in the fourth. It got down to single digits.
Yes.
I'm like, okay. The other night, Stockton Kings were up 109-105 with like 25 seconds to go. They allow a second chance 3. Then they have a 5-second violation on the inbound. And then Memphis scores a dunk to win it.
That was it.
Yeah, you got to be locked in.
The whole crowd was deflated after probably screaming, light the beam.
Why would they
light
shout?
the
Like,
beam."
what's Stockton's beam?
Baby beam.
They have a
team.
baby beam.
Oh, they have a baby beam?
It's dunks and just like holds up a laser pin at the end, at midcourt.
Do you call it BB?
Yeah.
It's a BB.
Blake says, once the crowd calls for the mystical energy of the beam, it shall not be denied.
Oh.
Actually, I believe in that. Let's get to closing time. Closing time.
Boom, boom, boom. Closing time. Time for new
Closing time.
It's closing time.
I was
But
afraid that was
before
gonna be
we
Dog
go,
of the Day.
you know we have to give you a last call.
All right, Morgan, closing time, rapid fire topics, end of the show. What happened to my voice? I was like,
Are you okay?
did you actually enjoy the Royal Rumble?
Yes, I did. I know we were texting with Chris Verlaud about it, and I know he didn't love it. I enjoyed most of it. My favorite part was all the drama that went down with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns.
It was like
And
I was like watching a movie.
Yeah.
The acting.
That was perfection.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
It was great.
Paul Heyman with his afraid look away at the end.
Heyman's going, is that me next? I've been loyal. Sammy's been loyal. Where could we be going?
Yeah.
And now we got to deal with tonight on Monday Night Raw, Cody Rhodes coming out crying, oh, this is my move. Cody sucks. I can't wait to boo him. And he's going to be a great heel because the fans are going to turn on him at some point.
He's not an American nightmare. He's an American failure.
Oh,
You like that?
he
Sorry.
just won the Royal Rumble.
I know. I was just trying to be mean to Chris because I know he's a fan.
All right, Kings and T-Wolves tonight, Morgan.
Uh-huh.
Who you got?
I'm going to go Kings. I think they're going to respond. I think they're going to adjust. What? Wait. Why is your mouth wide open?
Morgan is predicting a Kings win?
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
You guys screw both of you. I do predict a Kings win. And I just think that they got to see what they're up against and they're going to respond well tonight.
I think they are
Light
too.
the beam.
We are lighting the beam tonight.
Light the beam.
Light the beam.
Boo!
We better be talking about that tomorrow. Kings, T-Wolves tonight. Cattles and Rummy coming up next. We love you guys, but we got to go.
See ya.